Funny as hell.
Hello, everyone. We are now live.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Live and
Uncut.
live and direct.
Do you guys get Big Brother in the UK? Do you get that, the show?
We
Brother.
used to back in
I think, yeah, it
MTV
sounds-
back in the day, wasn't it?
Sounds familiar.
It's like they put a heap of people into like a house and they don't get to leave the house for weeks, and it's like the person that lasts in there the longest and doesn't. It's a bit like Celebrity, but I Am a Celebrity, Get Me Out here. Do you get that? Do you guys get that?
Yeah, wasn't that an old thing back on MTV, Big Brother?
Big Brother's kind of, well, it was Channel 4 we got it on over here.
Yeah, we had it on MTV. It was an old. It's like
Yeah.
when reality TV first started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was basically all it was watching people living inside this house.
What was it about? Like, why was it called Big Brother?
they
Is
had
it is
cameras.
Because every room had a camera in it. Yeah. I think it was
now
every
I get
room had a camera apart from the bathroom. But even in the bathroom, they still had microphones, so no one could sneak away and speak about anyone else, or it would get published to the rest of the team and it would create friction. And it was a bit crazy, really. But their famous saying when they went live was, "Right, house, you are now live. Please do not swear." And they would all instantly just fuck.
I was always curious if one dude was going to get caught beating off.
dropping douche.
Yeah.
What if you had to drop a douche? Was that recorded?
I don't
too?
know if the cameras are in the bathroom or not.
He said they were in the bathroom.
Oh, maybe they just were.
No,
on-
there's no cameras in the bathroom.
That's
but
what I was
like.
there was microphones in the bathroom.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
So you had to do it quietly.
Yeah, so all you heard was the...
And farting and shitting and
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you
that
sound
would-
like
that would-
that when you beating off, that means you attacking yourself. I don't know nobody that.
that's self-abuse.
Yeah, you having a hell of a time,
They can
That's,
lock you up for
that's
that
just
shit.
when it hits off the floor.
like a wet piece of meat slapping the floor. That's just how heavy it is.
Hey,
Thank-
Dallas is in the house.
Danglage.
What's Dolly's first name again? I forget that dude's name.
Begins with a G?
Garrett, Gorgeous,
Gordy or
Gordy,
Ginward.
Genwood.
I only look at people's monikers. I have
Yeah,
no
yeah,
idea.
yeah. Gene. I think it's Gene. He looked like a Gene, don't he?
Gamut.
Gamut.
G Hustle.
So what's the subject today? Do we have a subject?
I don't think we have anything. Maybe we just leave it up to somebody else to fucking bring a subject. Though, you got something in mind, Scotty?
No, I don't.
Just be flying off the hip with this shit. When you meet somebody for the first time, let's say you're going to like a gathering, and maybe show got you there, right? And you're at a party. You know no one there, and someone comes up to just say hello. What's your go-to topic just to break the ice? Do you have one?
Generally not. No, I think I would probably usually just start with the mundane. Hi, how are you? And then just kind of go from there. I think when you're in a group of people, subjects kind of just develop themselves, really.
Right.
I think that's the most natural way when you're in a crowd of people. And to be honest, when we're down the road, because we've got quite a group of people down. No, you guys aren't in mono. Dooms went deaf in one ear.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's just messaged me before I came in here. So
How in the fuck did he go deaf in one ear? But go ahead,
Yeah.
explain.
yeah, when we're down the road at the local sort of bar down at the bottom of the road, some of the subjects we end up talking about are so random, but it always ends up good conversation. But yeah, it's Doom saying he's got goner ear. As in
Damn.
1 year is gone.
Gone.
Oh man.
Yeah, hopefully
Damn,
it's a
Doom.
short-lived thing, Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't have the goddamn king of fucking techno going deaf in 1 ear. That,
His mixes are shit anyway, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
make any
that's
difference.
true.
He's not
Aye.
missing out on much.
I,
Who cares? Yeah, I think that when you meet people for the first time, that's the most vulnerable and the one chance you got to be honest with somebody. If you
Oh,
choose,
absolutely.
if you
Yeah.
choose to be so.
well, when you get into that crowd too, when you get there, the thing that I don't like, and I'm sure someone else doesn't like it, but if there's only like it's a small setting and there's only one group and they're already like deep in the conversation and you come up like kind of in the middle of it, you gotta kind of like figure out what's going on, what's being said, and it's just,
Oh, that's the worst.
that's the worst.
Normally, I would hope for somebody, if someone new comes into the conversation in a cipher or a circle, somebody who's ever talking about whatever they're talking about stops and says, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah,
You know,
this is
or-
what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're just
yeah.
But if no one agrees to do that, then you're like, you have to wait for the right time to interject and go, say something about the topic, or say, "Hey, everybody, how you doing?" Or just bow out.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been in a lot of them to where I just bowed out. I was just like, "Look, clearly you guys aren't acknowledging me, and I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So I'm just going to see myself over here.
Yep.
Peace out, and I'll never do this again."
And that's kind of a thing too. You got to hope that somebody is paying attention or is open to invite you into that conversation, so you're not stuck in that position. Because I'm sure everyone's been in that position.
I'm sure.
It's not a very fun place to be.
No.
Absolutely not.
You know what? I just remembered I changed the aperture on that camera, didn't I, Scotty?
Oh
You
yeah,
did.
yeah. Is it coming in still dark? We got the lights on.
You're not too bad.
Watch your tongue, Scotty.
Yeah, that's a bit brighter.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's not bad.
Do you want some atmospheric, quiet, generative sounds just drifting in the background here?
Yeah, I was going to do that. Why don't you fucking find something nice? Give us some ambiance, Scotty.
Tell me when you hear it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There you go.
That's not too loud, is it?
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah,
nice to my
I would
ears.
take it down just a little bit more.
Out there? Still
Yeah,
too loud?
Yeah, I think that's good.
It sounds good in my headsets. But let's see what the people think.
Lost in the waves of time, ease your mind.
What's up, Dallas?
Here at Sperm Core, you can relieve yourself at any given moment. Listen to the sounds of Scotty sounds and ejaculate at your leisure.
In your leisure.
Here at Sperm Core, we love everybody's sperm.
Don't think your sperm goes to waste. No, the receptacle next to you will be donated to those who can't have a baby.
Dollis is saying, ease these sacks.
Are your sacks pent up too tight and don't want to drop? Well, here at Sperm Core,
You can ease these sacks. You may find a receptacle to your left. The receptacle to your right is a non-donated receptacle.
we have plenty of women on standby to receive such specimen as yourself.
Does your scrotum feel like a space hopper?
Hop no more.
Or should I rephrase? Does your scrotum look like a one-handled space hopper?
Well, here at Sperm Core, we aim to not make you feel or look that way. Our ejaculation deposit boxes are open 24/7.
Remember, wasted sperm is lost sperm forever. And they make you feel bad for just having knuckle babies.
Yeah. Tired of those innocent babies running down the crack of your lady's ass? Oh, God.
Damn.
I don't know, Scott. That's what I'm getting from the music. So, yeah, it sounds good to me.
Yeah, this one's called Irish Spring Soap.
Oh, are you feeling unclean and would like to be clean?
Oh, shit.
Doom said my scrotum needs a wheelbarrow.
Have you not released yourself in years?
Does it feel like your scrotums require a wheelbarrow?
Dallas, jacking you off seems like something a nun might do for you to help you out. But ironically, they get upset when you ask them. Sisters of Mercy, my ass. Right, we better be careful what we're saying.
Jesus Christ, Dallas. You're going to set us up for failure here.
I mean, he can say it.
I mean, we're just reading a comment from some commenter. Oh, my God. It's just funny how the future may end up. Are you tired of your old body? The body you were born with? Here at Synthetic RS, you can be whatever you want. Upload your conscience into a female body. A she-he. A he-she.
Damn.
Future is going to be weird, Dallas. That is for sure.
It's going to be weird, man.
I think in 40 years, when we're all just terribly old, shitting ourselves, it's not going to look the same.
It's not. It ain't going to look the same 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I do think the good thing that would come from cloning, if they could speed up the process of how quick the human grows, cloning would be so good. Like if you had acute kidney failure or something like that, where they could actually just regenerate you a new organ that was going to work for you 100%, I think would be fucking amazing.
Don't you think that technology is already out?
I don't think it's quite there yet. I think they're getting pretty damn close to it, but I think it's still a long way off.
Can you look up, Scotty? I think it was in Japan where they did the first synthetic heart, and I believe it's been transplanted through 3 or 4, maybe even 6 people by now. Since the last time I heard about it, the heart has survived 2 people's life cycle. They were at an older age, but it survived that person's life cycle. It was then transplanted into another patient, survived that life cycle, of which I think that person had 10 years, died from some other complication. And now it's transplanted into someone else, and this heart is still fucking going.
Jeez.
That's pretty crazy, yeah.
Yeah, synthetic organs could be a thing, though.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would not be opposed to a synthetic organ, especially if conditions being that the body could still die, meaning you can't live forever, then I would be in favor for the synthetic organ.
Right.
But if people are trying to live forever and they don't want to transcend, me personally, I don't want to get on board with that, because I think every natural thing has to transcend.
Yeah.
It's a part of life.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what Dallas is saying. If we look at what we see now, he's able to buy marijuana at a gas station.
Yeah.
A literal petrol station.
He's in Virginia, correct?
Right.
Right.
I mean, that's bonkers. Who would have ever thought that was coming?
Well, the stigma behind marijuana has such a bad rap that a lot of people are just now coming around to seeing that it's actually more beneficial than the alcohol, the cigarettes,
Right.
the Western medications that we get around marijuana.
Mhm.
Like if you look at marijuana, what's the side effects? What's the pent up stigma about it? Why don't you like it? Because it alters your mind.
I think the stigma with marijuana was it kind of led people in the past into going into harder,
Right. And that study was
drugs.
and that study was it
Completely
was
debunked.
yeah, completely debunked. It was the individual trait that did that.
Yeah, you either had an addictive personality or you didn't.
Right.
Right.
So you can't blame the drug on a human's personality.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I, to be honest, I seen that through the 90s, because the 90s, certainly in the UK, I don't know how it was in the States, but there was a massive, and I mean colossal, rave scene over here. And it was like ecstasy, amphetamines, all sorts of shit was going around for probably a decade.
Mhm.
And it was through my sort of late teens into my sort of late 20s that all that was going on. So I was right in the mix of it all. But you could see the ones, even early days, you could see the ones that were just going to take it too far, because they didn't just do it for a bit of fun like everyone else did. You could just tell they had this addictive personality, and they would be trying to take drugs in different ways rather than just dropping a tablet like anyone else did. They would try and inject it. They would try and do this. And I think these type of people are just destined to be.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really believe that there is a gateway. I think if it's just as you said, Scotty, those who want more will always seek more. Those who don't, they don't.
Yeah.
Like when
Mr. Spong's in. Hello, Kent.
Kent Spong, let me know if you're in the back room. Underachiever said, "What about regenerating teeth like a shark?"
That would be
How
cool.
come? Yeah. Well, and why does it stop after a certain, like, isn't two growths, right? And the humans stop regenerating teeth. We only get
Right.
two sets. We get our baby teeth, and then we get our natural adult teeth.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can look at a shark and damn, he can regenerate and regenerate and regenerate.
Are we at the technology where we could tap into any animal and take their superpower, like sharks regenerating teeth, or that one fucking frog in Antarctica that can just literally die and then come back to life? Like, are we at the age where we can go and study different species genomes and literally rob their superpower? The chameleon can camouflage himself.
What about frogs being able to stick to any, like, practically almost any surface?
Any surface, right? I think that's a chameleon too, no?
I think chameleons can do it. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, you have what's the good movie Marvel that's made after that? The X-Men. Right? Because
Yeah.
you got what's the blue woman's name that can change into anything?
Yeah, what was her name?
She was like a fucking chameleon. It was
yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence that played it, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was a mimic.
Mystique.
Mystique.
Yeah.
Aye, Scotty.
Hey, something like that tells me is possible. Something like that tells me we have dark scientists in a fucking underground lab with a black budget, and there's some cabal saying, I want you to do science on every fucking thing you ever dreamed of. Somebody find me something great. Go ahead.
Right.
Unlimited resources. Find me something we can use here.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't put it across anyone's black budgeted ticketed item.
Here's a question for you then. I'll ask you first, Lamont. What would be the first thing if someone said to you, you could have one wish tomorrow and that wish will come true? What would you wish for?
One wish. Oh my gosh, God, you put me on a spot.
Oh, because it's one,
I
too.
like this one.
Jeez. You know, a normal genie gives you three, Scotty.
One. Okay, I have to sit on it. I'm not going to rush this answer. Let me sit for a little bit. And then let me just check and see if Kent's in, because he likes to.
He's not in the private chat anyway, or he's not spoken in the private chat yet. Underachiever says time travel.
Time travel?
Doom says he would wish for his health back.
His health. That's
Simple.
a good one.
I have one, but it's a personal one. But I have one. But if you
Ken
want to,
says he wishes he was 17 and had a hard on again.
It's a good one, Kent. But I would imagine these come with unknown things too, right? Because you're altering things.
Yeah, but don't look too deep into it.
Okay, don't look too deep into it. Okay.
That wish could be anything.
yeah, I got mine. Jeez.
Go ahead.
No, it's a personal one.
It's a
But I'll give you something that you guys. I'll give like I'll give a second wish here that I can say out loud. I wish that we could fucking make what we're doing right now financially feasible, so this is all we could do.
That's a good one.
Because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, man, because you really got to sit here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
You can't
I'm
butcher
definitely
it.
not gonna.
Do you though?
Well, I think you kind of want to dot your I's and cross your T's, especially if this thing is
Cause
real.
I got one wish. Like, I'm taking this serious. Like, one wish. I mean, I'm glad it doesn't come with like time constraints.
What's somebody else saying in the chat while this guy goes ahead and just mind rapes his thoughts?
Dollar says not to be a downer. Solves the most problems in one go. Thanos was right. Hey, Dave.
David, my boy.
Dave.
See, Doom's on the right track.
Underachiever said, I wish I could change my hairstyle every day.
Doom's kind of thinking the same lines as me, because I would wish for another wish every day for the rest of my life.
Oh, damn.
Then you could kind of solve everything.
That's true.
Because you're only allowed one wish just now, but that wish could be anything. So you could just say, well, give me a wish a day for the rest of my life.
Damn. Everything must be going really great for Underachiever. She just wants to change her hairstyle every day. Any day, how I wanted it.
Well, Underachiever, I just wish I had hair.
Hey. He speaks for the both of us.
I would wish that humanity became a type 2 species.
Oh, there it is. That's the unselfish wish there.
That's it.
That's the one that'll change everything.
If we can become a type 2 species, that's it.
That's it. Game over.
The game is over.
No more monetization, no more money.
Because type 3 is is going to be the inevitable next step for humanity. Right. Because you've already whooped type 1's ass. You're on to type 2. Type 3 is now you're going to be traveling the stars, essentially.
Right.
And you've harnessed the entire power of your solar system. So yeah, I would wish for humanity to progress to a type 2 civilization where we've harnessed the power of our planet, we've harnessed the power of the sun, we move as one. Not to say we don't have polarities and we don't have our ups and downs, but We're in a betterment where the human life is now critical and it's valuable, and we're on a harmonious state. And our next objective is to travel the stars because we figured out our problems. We've solved the world's issues. A type 2 species. A type 3 species in Michio Kaku's book is the species has now left the planet and they are exploring other worlds. Effortlessly. Yeah, I'll stick with that. Even if I'm not around to see it, it's something greater than myself and my wishes. Is for us to just bump to a type 2 civilization. Done.
It's a good one. It's a very good one.
What you got, Scotty?
For me, I would, sort of taking the wish a day away. I would probably say get rid of greed. I think getting rid of greed from the planet, like eradicate it, just remove it, that's just no longer a part of anyone, would be a massive, massive thing. It would stop so much shit.
Yeah.
Because so much of the world's problems is down to greed. And it is simply that. It's just greed. It's somebody somewhere wanting something that someone else has got.
Right.
Whether it be money, land, oil, gas, minerals, whatever it is. It's all down to greed. And even when you look at the whole sort of the vast gap between the likes of your Elon Musks and the poorest people on this planet, that just shouldn't happen.
Right.
One person should just not have that amount of money. It's bizarre.
Yes, I mean, that is bizarre. I still don't know how we, the people, let it happen, but hey, we get what we want, essentially. That was the profound thing when I listened to, oh my God, now I'm drawing a blank. He wrote the book, The Secrets to, you know his name too. We have the book. Shit. The Secret to, fuck. Anyhow, he equates everything as to us allowing people to do it. Like we can't point the finger at the people that's in charge. We can't point the finger at our government. We can't point our finger at the upper echelon, period. It's we the people who continue to let it happen. The finger has to go right to thyself. And then we don't have the mental know-how to make that happen. And he said it's not that we're stupid, it's just that times have gotten so far that it would literally take a group of people to literally figure out the odds and ends. Because for every action, there's going to be a reaction and it needs to be accounted for. So it's not a simple thing. It's really not a simple thing.
Right.
Without the current direction we have now, you take away finances, you take away people's motivation. Whether that was the intent or not, but why would anybody get up to move a finger to get us moving along if there's nothing to motivate them? You know? And it's a sad thing to think about, but my brother's alluded to this a lot of times. People have to be in it for everyone. You have to be in it to better not only thyself, but your partner, your neighbors, your friends, the people you don't know. If you're the trash man, you have to get up and take the trash out, and take the trash out for everyone, and take it to a landfill where we're properly, dispersing of trash. If you're a doctor, you have to look beyond yourself beyond financial means and go, I love to help people. I want to solve this. I'm going to commit myself to the community to help people out physically, mentally. Those who want to teach have to love to teach. Those who do art have to love to do art and do it for the betterment of society. And it just goes down this chain. Engineers, scientists, botanists,
Farmers.
I think that art is probably one of the few things that people they do it now just for the love of doing art, which benefits so many people outside. Like anything that you guys have done artistically, even when we were doing, it might have been mundane at the time for people to watch the Ableton, but they've seen the progress and the process of that happening.
Mm-hmm.
People got something from it. Or if we go on and do a jam, people get something from that. And we're not doing that for money. It's just because it's something you really enjoy doing. And I just wish that type of thing, everyone's job could kind of feel like that. It's just, the minute something feels like a job, it's just like, ugh.
Right. If you implement these job settings, we should have taken better care to find people's love and passion in their niche, because there's plenty of people out there that like to do the things you think you don't want to do or
exactly.
have no desire to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And if we had, CEOs that looked at every employee and was like, oh God, man or woman, you look burned out. Like, explain to me what's burning you out.
Right.
And if that CEO sat down with that person and said, oh my God, I could see how this could burn you out. Let me make some changes in here. Do you feel better staying at home or do you feel better coming into an office? We could provide both. Is this too much of a challenge for you, or are we putting too much on your plate? Or are we not paying you enough?
I do think that's one of the good things that came out of COVID, is a lot of businesses realised they could run with a lot of their staff just working from home instead of travelling to an office every day.
Right. And they work so much more productive.
It really does. And the other flip side of that is globally for the environment, you've got so much less cars on the road because people aren't having to travel, rush hours, all this kind of stuff. It has reduced that by so much. The carbon footprint of workers it's dramatically fallen after COVID.
Yeah, you think that's like, I don't understand why they're starting to slowly bring people back to the workspace. It's like, is it because you've leased these buildings and you need to have them paid for? And by doing that, you have to have your workforce in-house, which makes no sense, because if workforce is separate or at home, you're still getting the same revenue and the job in your business is still going the positive way. Why not let them stay home?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's what's the point? Like, I don't understand that part, if you're able to do it.
Yeah, well, there's Royd's got a good point there, because he says then the fascists revolted and people had to drive for no reason. Think of all the money saved, but that is against someone's interests. If you're using less gas, you're using less fuel.
And then less for the petroleum dollar to make its ends meet, as if it hasn't raped us enough.
I like what Underachiever is saying too about waste management. See that?
Yeah, I know, but if we were all that sort of, if society was the way as you guys were discussing there, everyone's, the majority, I would probably say about 80%, is getting a lot better now, but I would still say it must be between 60 and 80% of everyone's garbage goes to landfill somewhere.
Right.
So if we had our own houses with gardens, you would basically just have to dig a pit and bury your shit. The same as they do everywhere else, but it just ends up in one big place. It would just be scattered across the earth rather than in one massive place.
Right.
Probably creating a bigger hazard, to be fair.
But we need to change the the materials we're working with.
And
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and change
like
it into
your
like a
single-use plastics. That's one thing that I'm a
right.
big. I totally get it. Get rid of all that shit,
Right.
especially from the oceans and things like that, because
There are some people that say, "Oh, it comes from the earth, so it should go back in the earth." Yeah, but it came from the earth and it was chemically remade.
Yeah,
The makeup
re-engineered.
and the chemistry of it has been transformed.
right. Burying a plastic fork is not the way we brought it out of the earth. It's like you're adding chemicals and adhesives and shit like that.
Right.
But if we reorganized and redesigned our living process on how we package things and make it compost and biodegradable, it would be a whole different outlook. Because then you can take whatever your packages are, turn it into compost, put it in a garden bed, or like you said, like bury it or do something else with it,
Yeah.
or make people accountable for their waste. And shit, maybe somebody was like, you just drive your own trash when you're headed out, like put these bins like next to a grocery store where they can then have someone there to remove it. I don't know what that looks like, you know,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
it's and I don't know what it looks like. It's because I'm so conditioned to the way life is not now, right? These could be probably easy solutions,
Right.
but because we choose to live so goddamn difficult,
Like what Scotty said, it greed. It's
Yeah.
just greed. No one's looking for a solution.
right?
We're just looking to make more money.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to join in on the chat, feel free. Those of you who have joined in once, check your email. There has been a link sent to those who have joined before. If you want to come in, you can come in. Underachiever, if you want to come in to chat and let your voice be heard, because you're saying some brilliant things there. We could send you the link. All you have to do is put a thumbs up, and that goes for anyone else. Welcome in, Uncle Chrome. You snuck in here. I didn't see Chrome come in.
Chrome biscuit.
Chrome Biscuit. Kent saying Roy Joy Voy, I think Dahl has stepped away, or he's just not commenting. Yeah.
Underachiever saying, or we can take my wish and time travel and figure it out as many times as it takes until we figure it out.
Yeah.
Who's gonna listen to one person though? You'd have to put yourself in a very compromising spot to change the world without letting people know, which I think they would find out, that you're time traveling.
But
Because there's no way you should know all those things.
and some say that's what the UFO presence is. It's us time traveling.
Trying to get it right.
Let me ask you guys this. If you were that entity that sat back and watched Earth, would you tell us what we're doing and how to help, or would you just sit back and let it happen? If you're a person of the stars and you've seen how this shit goes, you've seen how you evolve, like you had to go through the bad and the brink of annihilation or self-destruction in order to be better, do you sit back, let it happen naturally, or do you intervene?
I think you're messing with a lot of things here. I think certain things have to happen for a reason. I mean, when you time travel, you can't go fucking with things. And if aliens are us in the future, coming back to fuck with things, you stand a chance of making it worse.
Well, but that also shows us that we still go on.
Yeah.
If ourselves are visiting us from the past, right, that means we're still around. I mean, from the future, that means we're still around.
Yeah, but that also means things don't look great.
Right.
Or what if it's the government traveling back from the future? Like,
And just to observe.
that really doesn't make things feel great. Government manipulation. There's so
Man,
many avenues.
I know, and it is so tough. It's
The recycling side of things, how strict are you guys in the States with your recycling? Do you have individual bins that will
Yeah,
not
we
get
do.
taken if
We do. We have
Yeah.
a bin for plastics and others, and then we have a bin for just your normal trash. But more times than not, we're just burning our boxes because we can burn in the county. But I don't know if it was worth it for us because we don't use a lot of those
resources.
Like,
California does. Like California, now you get 3 different damn banisters. You get,
do you?
You get a plastic.
We've got 5.
Yeah, you get a plastic, you get a bottle.
Same with us.
And then you get a normal trash.
We've got
Bottles and cans.
plastics and cans.
Yeah, that's what
goes
it is.
into one bin.
Yep.
We've got cardboard goes into another. We've got general waste, which is basically just like household waste. We've got food waste because we don't have you guys, you know, the
garbage disposal
that you've got. So all our food waste gets picked up on a separate day. And glass has got to be separate as well. However, the glass doesn't get collected from us. We save our glass into bags and then we'll have to take it down to a glass station.
Okay. Wow.
Wait, Underachievers in Indiana too. She says they have she's got mixed bins, but we only get just the one. You just throw all your shit in there. Unless you have to pay extra. Which I don't think, right? You don't have to pay.
I think we do. That's why we don't have. I don't know. I have to ask the wife now.
The only one we have to pay extra for is garden waste. So we also have a separate bin for grass and cuttings if you're cutting your lawn. And they'll take that away, but we need to pay I think it's £45 a year for that to be collected. And it's never a big enough bin for our garden, but we use it because it is useful. We're quite lucky because we've got a forest behind the house, so it just turns into silage anyway. We just dump it all in the forest and it just feeds the trees.
Right. I was telling the wife, if and when we do get chickens again, all of our food waste can go to the chickens.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they eat fucking everything.
Yeah, potato peelings, anything like that.
And I want to get back into raising hogs and cows again.
Pigs eat everything too.
But she's not wanting me to do the larger animals because she's like, I gotta look them in the eye, and once I look them in the eye, that's it. We're not killing anything. And I'm like, I get it, but I don't. For many years, my brother...
Hogs are very useful if you want to get rid of a body as well.
You didn't say that online, did you, Study?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we heard. It's a study.
I've held.
It's a study.
So he's heard. And he meant a body of chicken, or rotisserie chicken.
Right. Allegedly.
I think that was from Snatch, I heard.
I was going to say, this guy's watching too much Snatch.
Allegedly. But, I mean, when we raised our hogs... They taste different. They taste proper. We didn't feed hog, you know. We fed them proper. And then our cows, we didn't get certain antibiotic shots for them because we were raising them and they weren't around a bunch of other cows. And when we would finish our cows off, we did it the right way, you know, and the meat just tastes different. But I get it. When you raise something from... you know, a yearling and you watch it grow for a year or two, it's not the best feeling when you have to lay it down.
Right.
Because even when we were doing it for as long as we did, I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel like something was missing from me.
Yeah.
There was a portion of me like that just was taken when we butchered out our animals.
God damn it, David. David says he recycles in the basement, Moser. You know, David is one of those dudes where you really have to be careful. Okay? If somebody that you know and you kind of respect them, they keep offering you to go down into the basement of their house, chances are he wants your ass dead. And you may not come up from the basement.
That's true. Dave likes to start with the basement first.
I'd be leery if I had a friend and I met and I'm going to his house for the first time and he's like, yeah, Lamar, yeah. Thanks for coming, man. Your first time here at my place. Sweet. here's my wife. Yeah, here's my kids. Yeah, we're gonna have dinner later. Hey, you want to come down and see my basement?
No.
Yeah, well, just like I don't think so, man. But we start with the living room, the living room tour first. So yeah, Underachiever said they only have one bin too. They throw all their shit in that one. So I wonder when it goes to the trash in Indiana if they have a sorting process. Like, they have those shifters where they collect trash in abundance and then they shake it, or people are there to sort it. That I don't know. Or does our shit go straight to a landfill and they just like, fuck it, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Chrome has 3 collections also.
Yeah, but
don't generate enough compost material for that collection. Save eggshells and coffee grounds for the ex to use in her garden. Yeah, I
he's
hear
in
that's
Maryland
great
too.
Compost.
Right, he's in Maryland, right? So there's a lot more people there. And it seems like where there's more of abundance, because especially like in California, they take recycling theirs like 100% serious. Hell, even the grocery stores, when I went there, there was a trash banisters now, and then there's like for your plastics and your cans. So they don't even want you throwing shit in the normal trash, even at a
That's
place
exactly
of,
what they're
place
like
of
in
business.
the UK.
Yeah.
They're very strict here, and if we even accidentally put something in the bin, sometimes we'll put it out, and if one of the guys that's emptying the wheelie bin and at the back of the truck spots something, if they're assholes, they just refuse to empty your bin, full stop. And you end up having to go into the bin to remove whatever it was that you put in there, and then asking the council to come back to come and get this bin emptied, or you will not get it emptied again for another 2 weeks. It's so strict here. We've got to follow the rules, and initially what they were doing was they says they would collect the glass, so they gave us these little bins for putting glass into. And obviously if you've got empty wine bottles or beer bottles or whatever it is, it doesn't take long to fill a small box with these bottles because they're such big volume, but there's nothing in the middle of them. They're all just empty vessels, if you like. So I smashed them all up thinking, well, they're going to smash when they go into the truck anyway. The whole bin was left because I smashed everything trying to get all these bottles and jars and whatever else we had in there. And they says, oh no, that's a hazard to our guys that are picking it up because they're sharps now. You're not allowed to smash them. It's like, fucking hell. So what they ended up doing was just saying, right, okay, we're no longer collecting glass. You need to take your glass to... Now, we've got one at the end of the street. It's basically, they want coloured glass in one and clear glass in another, and you have to segregate them yourself. But it's very easy. And then that gets collected once a week. And the whole estate here, everyone just goes up with their cars and drops their empty bottles and jars and things like that into this. I think it's a good thing.
It is.
I was just going to say, but is it?
It's better than not.
It's better than not, but do you... I guess the big thing is we don't see it actually kind of making the difference, especially because I watched this ship in the ocean and its sole purpose, and this is a huge ship. It had, they're out to sea, I think, for like weeks at a time, and the sole purpose of it was to go around and collect trash. Well, they had these nets, and the amount of fucking trash
in the ocean
that these ships were bringing in, I'm like,
what's the name
God.
of that? What's the name of that AI ship in the middle of the sea?
It's a drone ship.
It's a drone ship controlled by AI.
And this one was human operated, and the amount of plastic that they say washes up on these deserted islands because of the channels that the oceans carry all this shit to.
It's wild.
It's unreal. Like, they were finding things like anywhere from water bottles to like magazines to shoes to McDonald's French fry cups and straws and
crazy shit that just wasn't breaking down.
It's just they land on these islands and they just accrue and they gather, and it kills so much marine life. Like, it's bad when we're tampering with some other biome's existence
because it's out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
So no one cares.
Right. And in India, their oceans too, some of the most nastiest beaches in the world.
Ugh.
Solely because of the trash.
They don't care to pick it up.
Diapers,
Ugh.
shirts, clothes.
Like, why did the people stop caring? Like, you don't need the government for you to care.
Right.
So why? It's your place to live. You don't have to live in nastiness. Just because you don't have any money don't mean you could be nasty.
I know it, but that's an individual thing, right? I still, like, when we were younger, I didn't feel bad throwing a wrapper out the window because I've done it. Threw a cup out the window.
Right.
Right. And as we got older, I'm like, the hell am I doing? I could just, I go to a gas station, I can just dump this shit in the trash when I get there.
Yeah.
Why am I so in a hurry to get rid of this trash?
Yeah.
And now when I think about it, I can't even let a napkin blow out of my truck without me going to run it down.
Same here. It's just like you start to be real. And that's the thing. Once you become aware, but it takes you to grow into this life to become aware.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, see, that's something Doom's touched on there as well. That I don't know if it was the same in the States, but in the UK, we used to get paid to take glass bottles back to shops.
Yeah, we used to get paid too.
Yeah, and it would maybe only be 10 or 15 pence, but all the kids would do it because they would think, okay, and they would just go all their neighbours and say, right, have you got empty juice bottles, things like that, and you would just take them to your local shop, and you would get 10 or 15 pence a bottle, and you'd maybe end up with a couple of quid.
Hey, this lady in California, and I was there last. To add to your point real quick, Scotty, she her personal little business was to go around the neighborhood, digging everyone's trash with her own trash bag. So she put all the trash back into the original containers nicely, cleans up after herself, and she has a truck. And she would do that every day, like 4 or 5 neighborhoods. She looked like she was well below the poverty line, right? Until you go talk to her. And I find out it's her work truck. That's her work clothes. Why look all good when I'm digging in trash and shit? Keeps her hair up.
Right.
You want to know how much she makes a day collecting cans, bottles, and shit?
How much?
$250.
That ain't bad.
A day.
To do your part, that ain't bad. But you have to want to do that.
It's 10 cents a can, CRV.
Yeah.
Yes, 10 cents a can, and this lady makes $250 a day. I mean, you do the math what she's making a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off people's laziness.
Off people's laziness. Well, not their laziness because they're dumping it in the right spot. She's just taking it to make sure it goes to the right spot. And she's paying herself to do it.
And she's not violating anybody's mail or anything.
And she chooses this. So, I mean, she chooses to do this with her life. Woman was smart. She was articulate. She was capable of probably pretty much doing anything she wanted. But this is what she chose. Making close to $5,000 a month.
Yeah, like Underachiever said, it's all plastic mostly now. Like there's rarely any glass bottles left.
Yeah, there's very few now.
Which is why we got microplastics in our body.
In everything. It's in everything. It's in the water. It's in our food. You can't get rid of it. It's in the air.
It's in the ocean.
Yeah, Underachiever. Have you got a number and link? I need notes on that.
Right?
Yeah, go to California and start collecting cans. Get that CRV tax. It's 10 cents a can. I think it's like 5 cents a bottle.
She could. Well, she's in Indiana with us, right? So she could probably do that in Indiana.
They don't have CRV taxes in Indiana.
No,
they don't do the. I don't know. You would have to ask, or look at the cans here. Look at a soda can and see if they have that stamp on it. Nowadays, to do your part, it's like you have to be an activist, and a lot of it is it's like volunteer work. Unless you actually work for a company.
Some of these activists take it too far as well. I was watching a video yesterday, and it was all these sort of anti-shipping, like via trucks, and they were standing at I think it was down in Dover, there's Dover to Calais, and there's lots of ferries come over with European trucks that come over and sort of delivering things all over the UK. And these activists were drilling holes in the truck's tires. But because they were activists and they were making a statement, very few of them were getting arrested for it. I'm thinking if me or you went out with a freaking drill and started drilling holes in people's tires and their
It'd be
cars,
the end of us.
we would be in the jail.
Yeah.
Right.
So why the fuck are they getting away with that? Like, that's not the way to go around it. That is
Right.
not like sitting on a street and making a barricade to stop. That is not the way to stop it.
Right.
That's called
Yeah.
dancing around. You don't want to be in the public limelight to show that you're against a certain agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I always got irritated when athletes bring in politics to sports.
Or agendas, period.
Or agendas, period. Like when I watch sports, I'm trying to get away from that bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're so adamant about bringing politics in, do that shit off the field and prove that you're doing it. Until then, let us watch our fucking sports.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when our sports are over, we go back to the bullshit. That's why I stopped watching football so much. Basketball. They keep bringing in these fucking agendas and ideas.
Yeah,
and
all the politics.
I don't
that
want to
come with
think, man. I just want to watch you guys play ball. That's it. Go do what you want to do in your personal time. I'm not here to respect you. I'm here to respect you playing the game.
That's it.
I don't know what you do when you're off the field. Don't care what you do. You never respect the player. Or you respect the player, but not the player's personal life.
Right.
Because you don't know who the fuck they are.
Right. And that pretty much goes with everything nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
You kind of got to take everything with a grain of salt. I don't know. One thing you can't take like just full on, just accept it, right? Everything you got to be in reserve for. You got to have some reservation.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? The Self-Mechanism Defense Unit. Why are you giving me a free cup of coffee? I'm in reserve.
Yeah.
There's some sort of freaking agenda behind this.
Because nothing's for free.
What do you mean I get to cut in line in front of you? You see how long that line is?
Yeah.
What's the catch?
Right? Damn, that's sad. We can't even take nice or
gestures.
We can't take nice gestures. We can't take compliments without thinking, okay, but why? You said I look okay, but why?
Right.
What's your goal?
Yeah. How come I can't be friends with a black Jesus whose protagonist is a gorilla in a kilt? Why? And he lives in Scotland. Why? What's your beef? What's your angle?
There are no free lunches.
It's very true. For someone's free lunch, it's costing someone somewhere something.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a free anything. If somebody tells you that shit is free, just think, it's somewhere in my tax dollars. I'm sure I'm paying for this somewhere.
Yeah. Just like when Oprah gave away those free cars, you get a car, you get a car. What she didn't tell those poor people were they had to pay the taxes on those cars.
Is that right? Is it?
Yep.
Wow.
You got to go pay and get it registered.
So wait, you just gave me another bill? Wasn't completely free, was it? Now, if you were financially off, you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's nothing. But what if you weren't?
Right. Forfeit that shit. Yeah.
Sell a car.
Yep.
The car.
It's the
Sell
car.
a car. You can't drive this to Mars. You don't own it.
4, 3.
Ole, 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 ole.
Behringer.
Just waiting for the
Right?
the eyes to pop up.
Yeah, you call?
There he is.
There he is.
Oh, I fucking love it.
He says, my car, you can.
My car, you can.
You can get the mirrors in my car.
We'll take all the Behringer products with us.
It runs on ketchup. Ole, ole, ole. We got Behringer tires. We got Behringer motor parts. We got Behringer seats and steering wheels.
It may not last you long, but you bought it cheap.
So expect cheap shit. It's Behringer. Ole, ole, ole.
Samurai, that was perfect timing.
Perfect
Yeah,
timing.
absolutely
That motherfucker,
perfect.
boy.
Fucking lurk,
I
ain't he?
love that dude, man.
He's the
I
only.
love that dude because everybody else hates him.
He's the biggest lurking gherkin in here.
Yeah,
isn't he?
yeah.
As soon as he hears it, he's
I
like,
swear that dude is he's a large supporter, Scotty. Like,
I ain't
yeah,
never
it's
ha-
huge.
yeah,
Yeah, I've never had a brother like him where you don't know his first and last name.
right. He's just there for you.
He's just there for you.
He's like a fucking Behringer angel.
He's like, no. I'm here for you. There's no need to know my first
You
and
don't need to
last name.
complicate things.
Why get all complicated? Just know that I'm with you boys and I got your back on Monkey Island.
And boy, does he. I can't wait to expose the real synth mafia behind the closed doors. Because if you don't go to Synth Samurai show and listen to what he's saying, I think a lot of people think he's fucking joking. But there's really a synth mafia out there who talk shit about other channels behind closed doors. And forbid you be a transgender person trying to get your channel going. They really hate that.
Damn.
damn.
Scotty, he just blew the bomb.
And they really hate when a channel tries to do something different, add different hosts and take their channel further. They hate that too. They don't want you to do that. They want you to stay within their confines and lurk on your channel.
And not want to
Dave's sorry to interrupt there, guys, but Dave's backstage.
Dave's backstage.
and not want to be
Hey,
on your
VB.
channel. What's up, Viral Beats? They want to lurk on it, talk shit about it, and then come on your channel and then be like, hey, what's going on, channel? Hey, what's up, channel?
Come on in. Oh, wait. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, we
Come on.
can hear you, David.
Black Jesus, come to the basement.
Yeah, you see, there he goes.
I ain't
There he
going to
goes.
any fucking basement with you.
1 minute. Close your
One.
eyes.
Close your eyes.
David is that creepy serial killer, right?
Yeah.
I can't even finish it. Hold on. Put the blindfold on. Relax your body.
Count to 10 backwards.
Yeah. Oh.
I will gently wrap this rope around your body.
Yeah. No,
You are
that's why.
safe.
You know that's why Scotty is playing his sperm core music in the background.
Black Jesus versus Basement Man.
Yeah. Shit.
Fuck
The
me.
ultimate battle.
Is your nutsack the size of a basketball?
Here at Sperm
To
Core.
sperm is us.
At Sperm Core, we'll teach you to nourish and swaddle your nut bag.
All sperm is good sperm at Sperm Core. Is your wife tired of you visiting Sperm Core?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Oh, are you answering questions that haven't been fully delivered yet?
Hey, Jervis.
Jervis.
Jason, nah.
Jervis.
Haven't seen Jervis in a minute.
Gotta get Jervis. Hey, Jervis.
Hey, Jervis.
You ever been to Sperm Core, Jervis?
You ever donate your sperm but don't donate it?
You ever wake up with a flat nut bag, Jervis?
He says, I am sperm core.
I am sperm
Sperm
core.
core versus basement boy versus black Jesus.
Jesus, David, what's wrong with you, man? Get back to the basement.
That sounds like a cage fight.
Right?
Good.
Sperm core
People will pay
versus
money.
Dave the basement. Let's get ready to rumble.
Oh my God.
Oh, his sound effect is like somebody walking up the stairs and the squeaky door closing.
Dave the basement.
Underachievers tripping out. She's smoking weed and like, okay, this took a fucking 180 here.
You ever watch those old movies where they got the trap doors? You know, they come up to the front door and it's like
Yeah.
boom, and drop them right down.
Yeah.
I get goosebumps. Honey, I got an idea.
I got an idea.
Oh, shit.
If they don't come to my basement, I shall bring them to the basement.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just need a sawzall.
I can see Dave too. Like, what if we were literally right now in Dave's basement and he's got people tied up and they're just watching him do podcasts
yeah.
all
Oh,
It's
my
have
God.
Yeah, and you just hear
Where
in the
does he
background,
go during those workouts? He keeps going somewhere.
Yeah.
Check on the people.
day. Right?
Yeah.
Comes back.
Like, where is Dave going during the workout?
No, Dave is such an asshole. He would tie him up in the basement, put a projector or a TV right in front of him so they can watch him do a podcast.
He's got a little spray bottle. Why has he got the spray bottle? What's he doing with that?
Yeah. Son of a bitch.
Oh, fuck.
I knew I should have never
Right.
drank that Sunny Delight.
And then he doesn't hurt him. Doesn't hurt him at all.
No.
Just
very,
lets him go.
Yeah.
And they're
very
like,
safe.
what the fuck was that about?
very safe.
Very
What was it?
safe.
It's a very safe.
Very safe basement.
It's a very safe basement.
Oh, yeah.
No one's ever said they wouldn't do it again.
Doom's comment.
Takes a little tricky the second time. That's when you gotta use
You know,
That's
what
when you
doing?
got to use the,
Yeah. No, don't say it, Dave. Jesus Christ.
Doom said he has his old employers in the basement. Wah, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah. Settle or else.
And they're forced to watch his podcast.
Yeah. They forced
He's
to
been in such a good mood lately.
watch all his techno videos.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch all the.
Fuck. Oh, shit.
David, you didn't catch our first one, or maybe you did, but Scotty gave out the old wishes. What's your, you get one wish.
heard-
What is it?
Yeah, I heard those. Those are really good. I want to do something nice since I have the whole basement thing.
Ah.
I want to loosen the rope.
Yeah. I want a different feng shui in my basement.
Oh, shit. Hey, Bicky, welcome in.
Uncle Chrome said ideation of captives.
Ideation of captives.
Hey, Becky.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
World Peace is a good one.
Oh man, I like the greed one a lot. Removal of greed, but I can't use that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daggone it.
But if you remove greed, like, have you guys thought about it? If you remove
No.
it, you're
Just get
removing
rid of
an
it.
actual component from humanity. Like, we're encoded with some of these things. Isn't it okay to be greedy for certain things? Like, why would that be in our genome? I believe
Well-
it's in our genome.
For instance, with the basement, when you get too many people, yes, greed is good, right? No, let's see. What would I do? Really, let's look about this. I the cure cancer would be nice, but
Mm-hmm.
oh man, what do we need? What do we need?
Vicky said he wants world peace.
See, I like you guys are not being selfish, and it's like this thing for the collective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But for those who are selfish or who think that they have a selfish wish, it's not. It's if it's for you, it's an embetterment. Is that even a fucking word?
Yeah, because you're thinking about yourself as a collective.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could then rephrase that and say, I would prefer greed to be replaced with drive.
Jervis
Yeah.
said self-improvement.
Yeah.
Underachiever said she wished dogs can live for 50 years.
Oh, that would be a fucking hell. That's a good one.
I would love my dog to live
Dogs'
longer.
lifespans
They
are
do
way
have
too
too
short.
short.
And I
Wish
would
it-
definitely love self-improvement too.
Man, self-improvement would be
That
the
weighs
ultimate.
heavy, Jervis. Yeah, that's spot on. Like, how many of us aren't? I think we're all dealing with some kind of mental health issue here.
100%. Do you need help for self-improvement? Do you need somebody in your corner that's super honest and to help you? Or can you do it by yourself? We know some of us can't do it by ourselves.
I think with the right support behind you, you can do anything. If you've got someone in your life that would give you the support, and I don't mean financial, I just mean but it's all. I think it's very difficult for humanity, for us to believe in ourselves. But if you've got someone strong in your life that believes in you more than you believe in yourself, that's a big thing.
Right.
So that's my wish along those lines. I wish everyone had their own personal angel, right?
Yeah.
Not a parent, but just someone who was there whenever they needed them to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
who understood them, that, had no judgment, just was there to be a mirror for them.
Yeah, that's what Jason said. Jason said you can do a lot by yourself, but you just need to you need to be
You need a good mirror.
you need a good mirror. But how
Yeah,
many
sure.
people? But see
Yeah.
that goes back to my point where people need help because a lot of people lie to themselves and do not want to look in the mirror.
No.
Right?
I think-
maybe medical drugs for them is how they can look into the mirror.
Well, I think we were talking
Samurai
about
says just
yeah.
accept Uli in our heart.
Yes,
Oh,
Uli, come into my life.
Sorry,
Yes.
Dave.
Bless
No,
thee.
I like that.
No, you don't.
Clone Ulis. Everyone gets an Uli.
Everyone gets a
You
fucking
get an Uli.
You get an Uli.
You get an Uli. You
I
get
think
an
Uli's
Uli.
ghost would just be called Ghoulie.
Ghoulie.
It's so
Uli the
simple.
Ghoulie.
You get a ghoulie.
Uli the Ghoulie. Guys,
Which
he's
if
got
you listen-
everything going for him.
If you listen
Even
to
the name.
Uli's story, Uli's story is not for the faint of heart. Like, that dude went through something. You can't take in my mind, you can't take much away from Uli and
No, for sure.
the way his life is and how he set himself up and how he set his company up. I mean, sure, every business out there does some shady shit. I don't care who the fuck you think you
Oh,
are.
yeah, they do.
But what's he really doing? I think if you look at it, he's doing a betterment for humanity than most people will ever do. This is a small fucking company, right? Synthesizers means nothing in this world right now. That guy means nothing, only to musicians like us. But he's
Yeah.
changed the ground for people who don't have, can finally have. Like, how could you argue with that?
Underachiever says, I was just talking about this with a friend today. There are no mirrors on the side of a person who doesn't want accountability. Son of a bitch. Goes to my point.
It's a hard thing to look at yourself. I'll give an example. Even the idea of I've rarely ever went back and watched myself on any show I've ever been on. And it's not really an accountability thing, but there is something there, right? I don't know what that reason is. Of course, I know we're exploring more. I think, Lamar, we were talking about that, how one of the things that I always tried to do when I worked, was to put a mirror on people,
Mhm.
right? Now, when I did that, I understood that it was a very sensitive thing to do, right? I never did it with malicious intent. It was to try to invigorate their authenticity a little bit, I guess is the word I'm looking for them to start to see things, extract their whatever was happening, and have them kind of see themselves a little bit more the way I was seeing them,
Mhm.
right? And you can get you have to be very kind when you do it. Even if you tell them something disparaging, you have to kind of say it with, you know, you got to have intent where you're going with it. But it's so important, you know. And I think we've talked about it. Artists, good artists, or just artists, hopefully, tend to have good mirror-like qualities. You know, it's how they kind of push themselves, right? They have to listen back to what
And
they've
be
done.
self-critical, yeah.
Yeah, and still not destroy themselves.
Yeah, but you
know?
have people that don't, because they're going through maybe some perceivable hard moments, and they do not want to come out of their moment to acknowledge themselves, even if another person that desperately loves them is trying to show them, like from the outside looking in, like the mirror can be a mirror, but it can also be someone that loves you very much, and you're trying your best to show them a hint of what they're like, but that person does not want to see it.
Yeah. Whether it be the ego or just not being honest with yourself.
But
defenses.
But for a person in that situation, what's the blocker? Is it the ego?
Deflection or
No, I don't think it's the ego.
Is it the pent up deniability? Is it the wanting to stay in the mindset that you're in?
It's trauma, maybe too. There's something in there that's very painful, and they're going to protect themselves at all costs, you know, to the point of irrationality in their, you know, when they're talking to you. Their guard is up. Some people just live with their guard up all the time, right? And everything is very superficial when you're interacting with them. And I think we all know when we're in those moments with people, right? It starts to become you become very aware, because they're not responding to you. They're not empathizing. They're just existing, you know, defending their own area. That's deeper. So I do agree that the ego, it can certainly, that's another, if someone has a fragile ego or derives their self-worth from that ego, then everything in their life becomes about enhancing it, protecting it, defending it, right? Which can lead to even pushing people away who threaten their ego. Right?
Yeah.
They will push people away. They will dislike them.
Underachiever says something to that point. It's well, Jervis started it.
You started it, Jervis.
Yep. It's much easier to blame someone. And Underachiever says deflection, not reflection. But you can show them that you can show them, you can shame them, you can rationalize, you can negotiate. But if you're not willing to look into that mirror, it's useless tactics. And Bicky goes on to say it's fear, trauma, fear. It is useless tactics, because until they can get out of that space, and I don't know what helps them. Maybe it's them in the long run, and who knows how long that course goes. But you're not going to let go of any of that until you let go of the fear.
Yeah, but so Jervis is saying always my fault. Can you agree with yourself that the ego is separate from Jervis? That the ego is something different? Because if you start pointing the finger to you, what do you mean you? Like, I think we have this duality about us.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a devil on the left
perceivable devil
shoulder
and
and an
angel
angel on the right shoulder. Then you have you.
Yeah.
You know? The devil is the ego. The angel is what people perceive you to be, and you want to appease them. But the hardest thing to be is you. So who are you accepting the fault for? Because in my mind, I think a lot of us don't have we don't have a choice. We do, but we don't. We don't see that there's ultimately an issue with the way we perceive things, the information we're taking in, and there's a distraction there from finding out who we really are. And I always pose this question to everyone, and sometimes I get a smoking answer that teaches me something, but majority of the time I do not, because people don't think and they answer this question too fast. And that question remains, who are you?
Yep. Outside of your name, who are you?
Outside of your name,
Yeah, you asked that. I remember.
who are you? And take away the fucking information you're looking at every day, because something dictated you into being who you thought you were. When the observer starts to observe the observer,
Right, but
you have an issue.
Jervis said, to be clear, I didn't leave. He didn't have any context to it. He just like, it's the other person that's telling him that, not him.
Right. Well, I still
Right.
think
Yeah,
it falls
yeah.
under the same
Same
fucking
tree. Yeah,
same
yeah.
same guidelines.
But he was just under
Too
his-
late, Jervis. Sorry.
It's too late.
Yeah,
it's you.
too late.
We're going to
It's
just say
already.
it's you.
We've already internalized.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
already digested that.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
a problem with you.
I'm the
We're gonna
action.
need you to have a problem with yourself.
I'm
right now.
the action I perform. I'm the action I perform. To me, that sounds like somebody has a remote control to a AI robot, and it's like, okay, now perform. You know, are you just performing to the action of? I mean, what are you
No,
performing?
I think what he's meaning is he is the action that he performs. So what you see is what he is.
Is what he is?
I think that's what you're meaning, Jarvis, is it?
I mean, I think we pawn ourselves off on a belief that it's actually us when it's things that we're intaking from society. I don't know if we really know who the fuck we are. And if I'm being honest with myself, I don't know who I am.
I don't know how to answer it.
If you take
to be
away
honest.
if you take away influence, just take away, I'm just going to give one fucking thing, influence. Take away the influence. Who are you? Because I kind of feel like I'm a bit of everyone at certain points in my life. Like, oh, I'm a bit of Scotty because I agree with some of the things he says, and he approaches things like this. Oh, now I'm a bit of my brother because he made me see this, and now I'm a bit of this person over here because I agree with that. But how much time have I spent with myself, shut down all influence and go, okay, right, now, without the influence, who the fuck are you? Let's sit you down and figure out who the fuck you are.
I think you can't really find that until you're alone.
You know, it's interesting you said that, Lamar, because right when you said it, I was thinking about, I was in my late 20s. I was married for a year, got divorced. It happened like in a New York minute. And then I spent, there was a period where I spent, well, I didn't get remarried for another, 10, 15 years, but I finally spent time by myself.
That's where it comes
I
from.
lived by myself, and I all of a sudden, every moment was not about someone else. I was not reacting to someone else, and this is the way I was brought up, to understand my environment and react accordingly, right? And now it was all removed, and it was like, well, kind of to Lamont's question, who are you, right? What do you want to do right now? What makes you laugh? Not what makes someone else laugh, what makes you laugh? How do you know, and it's important to have those moments. You know, it's that whole concept of just quiet, nothing. You know what I mean? I think one of the best moments when my wife and I first kind of settled into our relationship, and she looked at me and she said, "What now?" And I said, "We live." Right? And she brings that up, you know, every so often. She said, you know, it just hit me. hit me so hard when you said it, because I was thinking about like the goal or this or that, and I'm like, we live,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we just live.
Vicky says maybe we are all each other, and I think underachiever is saying the same thing. I was thinking about it. That you have these synchronistic moments in time in life where people are saying the same things that we're all thinking. You know, it's a synchronistic moment. Underachiever was just telling a friend about mirrors and reflecting and shit like that, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking the same along the lines as Vicky. Underachiever Jason is, if Scott is going through something and he explains it vividly well to me and not capture his emotions become my emotions because I'm entangled with Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So I may not be physically there going through it or have the rich history he has with the situation, but I surrender a part of my essence to embody some of the trauma or some of the life experience that he's going through. And I know this because I can feel it. If Scotty's going through a bad time, if David is going through a bad time, and they're expressing this to me, and if I'm a good person and I'm that good friend and I'm intently listening and I'm there, well, yeah, I'm going to be affected by that.
Mm-hmm.
So not only does this affect the person, but it's like it affects the person. It affects the person. So at what point do we distinguish ourselves indifferent? If we have the power of empathy, where we can readily attach ourselves to other people's emotions,
Right.
I don't think you can get any fucking deeper than that.
No, I think you're right. I think we've always had it wrong. I think we've felt like we didn't have the capacity to deal with other people's crap, right? I have my, I have my own stuff. I can't handle all this.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what you're saying is actually, it's almost like I hate to say the word psychic because I'm not really that. Usually I don't see myself that way. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are these kind of psychic pathways. The other day, yesterday, day before, I was thinking about this random musician that I'd seen on Twitter, and he'd had this label and all this stuff. Some reason he came in my mind, and I was thinking about his struggles and the struggles of musicians. And I know he'd always struggled. It wasn't that night or for the next morning, he put a video out talking about that whole thing. I'd never seen him do this, right? And I thought it was random that I thought about the guy, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
But then the video came it came right up on my thing, and it was exactly what I was thinking about him, right? Because as you said, Lamar, there's something really powerful when you kind of connect with people like this on a deeper level. You start to kind of sense something, you can feel, they don't even have to tell you much. And I had to say, it kind of blew my mind that it happened. And you could say, well, it's the chance. I go, damn, that was a big chance though. I had to think about it, and he had to do something. And it wasn't just, it was the same thing I was thinking about, and I think it's, I know we get to this 5 or 10% of our brains or whatever else, our stomachs, guys, I guess our stomachs are pretty smart, but have you been hearing about that?
Stomach is hugely connected to the
Yeah, I
brain.
know.
It
I kind of
is.
love
It
it.
is.
I love the stomachs getting some love. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
kind of been down there with everything, the
They
big belly.
They say the stomach is where the soul lives, the solar plexus, right?
Could be. Hey, Roy.
In that case, I lost my soul.
Yeah, right.
You lost your
Yeah.
soul this morning.
Yeah,
Fuck,
you gotta
I
be
wish I
careful.
lost my stomach this morning.
That's why you always look back. You gotta check, make sure.
What is it about a synchronistic moment, though, that we kind of,
Look at as magic.
well, not the magic part. I want to know the birthing part. When a synchronistic moment comes, it's always subconscious. It's never something you are wanting and pushing to do.
Yeah, spooky actions is what it is.
Right. Synchronistic moments come by just being in that not unconscious, but like that float state, that unseen current
It happens whether you want it to or not.
Right. And then you
And why is it so quick that humanity just excuses that as coincidence?
I know, because you start working the probabilities of it, and you go, man, that's weird.
Well, yeah, definitely. But if you think about trying to explain it, that's where people give up and they say
You're fucked,
it's coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
you're right. We can't. For some reason, we see that as a waste of time
Exactly.
to explore it. Right? We somehow keep, and it's true that some people are more prone to this of occupying their mind with busy
Right.
thoughts.
And it can be bad.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It can keep you from eating.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And as artists, we're kind of like, I don't know. I know me. I like the experiences, but I'm also kind of protective of that flow state.
Mhm.
You know, I don't want too much nonsense, what I consider nonsense, or just like thoughts that are just not really productive.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of muddying that ability to let me just kind of exist a little bit and let my
Yeah,
mind kind of
live.
go where
Yeah.
it wants to go, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I spent a long time trying to answer these questions. Like, why does it happen? What is all this coincidence that can't possibly be coincidence, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you watch The Simpsons, Sunday night, and then somebody brings up The Simpsons on Monday, that's not really a coincidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not at all. We know why, right? It's a
Right.
direct link. You can trace that and understand that. But I think the things we're talking about are
Spooky actions.
more important things that happen
In the mind.
Mm-hmm.
in the mind and between people, even.
Mhm.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
the ether. Like for instance, and I'm pretty sure I'll be spot on with this. What's the one deity we all believe in and have seen this deity do work? We've seen the magic of this deity. We even say that it's going to do what it does.
Yep.
Without me spilling the beans,
I already know what
I'll
you're
give you a
talking about.
guess. What deity do we all believe in? And it has a lot to do with the unseen.
And you could be atheist and you still believe in this.
You could
deity.
be atheist and still believe in it because you've seen this deity at work.
And you were a victim of this deity.
And you were a victim of this deity.
Luck, if that's a deity.
Nope.
Mother
nope.
Nature? I
Nope.
don't know.
No. And you've all said it. You've all witnessed it. I'll even give chat a chance. Jervis said money. That's not the one. The sun,
I wouldn't
life.
consider money a deity.
Are you ready? I'm gonna give you the
The
answer.
sun. Okay.
Uncle Chrome got it. Karma.
Daggone it, Chrome, your big brain.
Big ass monkey
Fucking
brain.
monkey brains.
Gosh, brains.
But how many of you called upon? How many of you called upon her and said, "Oh, karma's going to get that person," and it came out to be? It didn't happen overnight. Maybe it was a week, a month, maybe a year, but karma got that motherfucker.
And
We all bear witness to it.
and even if you don't say,
Wishful thinking.
and even if you don't even say karma, we always say things like, "You keep playing in that street again. That one of these days you're going to get hit by a car."
Mhm.
Okay, so is it karma or was it your intent?
Okay, so if
your
you
intent, did you drive it because you were like, karma's gonna get that?
so now you're talking about manifesting outcomes, which
I mean,
I'm not
you
going
can't
to
exclude that.
I'm not
No,
going to
you
exclude
can't.
that.
You can't.
I'm not going to exclude that. But when I speak about karma, I'm not thinking about a particular outcome. I'm thinking let the universe take its place on the appropriate judgment and actions
Yeah.
for that individual.
Even if you don't say anything.
I'm not doing anything negative or positive for this person, but karma, I'll leave it in karma's hands to do the appropriate action, and it always seems to take the appropriate action.
Here's a good case in, well, I could use it, but no, I'm not, because it'll affect the other person. But there's some things in your life that you may have done. And then karma being the beautiful presence that it is, later in your life, what you've done to someone, karma will let you then experience what it feels like to have that done to you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't think it's real, then you're probably just gonna lie to yourself. But I know everybody has had a dance or know someone who's had a dance with karma.
I mean, like there's a lot of videos on YouTube all about karma, right? Like you see somebody steal somebody's wallet and then run out in traffic and get hit by a bus. That's karma.
Instant karma.
Right.
Yeah.
Instant
However,
karma.
That's instant. That's very satisfying, I guess, in those cases.
Right.
It's, yeah, immediate, and you can experience it and enjoy it, I guess, if that's your thing. But my problem is like, where is the karma for the real problems, the real cancer in the world, right? The real evil people, if you want to call it evil. I mean, negative. You would say it's definitely against the rest of us. So, like let's just take Hitler. Hitler didn't really get karma. Hitler made it to a ripe old age and then shot himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really karma.
Well, so
He
we,
got everything he wanted, and it was quite destructive.
so that was the story of. We don't know what really happened to Hitler, and maybe even if he shot himself,
Maybe he's in Argentina.
Well,
maybe-
that was one of
That
the
was
rumors.
that was
thing.
one of the right. So, but maybe that was the karma for him.
Or maybe the karma was he didn't win the war and his ideals
That's true.
got shot down.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not a
true.
Nazi
and
world.
terminated himself.
And he terminated.
We have to
himself.
terminate this individual. Bicky says karma is an Indian word for
Yeah.
actions.
You
Right.
know?
Right. And here's one thing okay, maybe that was necessary. I don't think so. I mean, is it a catalyst? Is it one thing leads to another? That's another question. But you're talking about karma. But when you think if somebody endeavors to do something like Hitler, and you're already gonna unify the rest of us against that person, so there's very little chance of them succeeding, regardless of karma playing into it.
Yeah, but as karma would have it, he didn't win his war though, right? Like his ideals got crushed. There is no Nazi
No,
state.
that's not true. There
It's
are
un-
plenty of
it
Nazis
it may
too.
be underground, but it's not running
Not
anything.
even underground anymore. Not even underground.
I mean, but we can say that about any like hidden faction or a cabal or anything like that, or a slave state. But there's no one running around perceivably in our eyes with swastikas on and Jews being burnt.
That's not true.
in
It
a
just
train.
depends on where you live, I think. Because
Right, but he's saying
it's
he's
not-
saying
it's
there,
not-
there's no mass
there's
genocide
no
going
mass
on
genocide
right now.
in our display. I mean,
In our display.
we
Yeah.
can say that about Coney
I
over
don't
in
know if that's true, actually. I'm not trying to get real political or anything, because I know that's not where we're trying to go. But
Right.
yeah, but there are genocides occurring.
Oh, I'm not saying there's not, but I'm just saying like there.
And to the effect
not
that we
to-
have to go to war and stop it, right? So shit, Coney in Africa is
I was just
causing
gonna say
mass
Right
genocide.
and wrong.
Yeah.
And then when you talk about right and wrong, it's a matter of opinion. And then add to that, when you have somebody maybe who is at the helm, who doesn't give a shit about right and wrong,
Yeah,
and then you're going to get what you get.
right.
That's it.
Ultimately, yeah.
Yeah.
I there's some people in chat who are saying karma is no different from God. Karma is pretty much everything.
Right.
everywhere, yeah, and it's everywhere. I was watching Nat Geo,
Exactly.
and
Underachiever.
these hyenas are, I forgot what the pack of hyenas were doing, but I know they were messing with another certain group of animals, right? And it was the one hyena that kept putting on, doing this, doing that. And karma would have it, that same animal kicked him in the leg or something, broke his leg, and then another pack of hyenas ate his ass. So, I mean, we could look at it a whole different a whole different different angles.
But if
That's
you-
all.
But that was very specific to what he was picking
Yeah.
on, and then in turn,
Is that
he got what he deserved.
oh, that could
synchronicity or is it karma?
be synchronicity.
they go
Okay,
hand in
look,
hand.
look. The very first horse I owned, his name was Dexter. He kicked so many horses in the leg and
Oh,
broke
yeah.
those legs on
Oh,
those
yeah.
horses, and those horses had to be put down.
Yep.
And he was known to do this. He almost cost me quite a pretty penny on buying someone a new horse.
Oh shit.
But they realized, that horse was at fault and they shouldn't have pinned him up like I told him with any other horse because he's known to kick horses. So my horse for 13 years, you want to know how he died? Another horse kicked him in the leg
Yep.
Oh wow.
and shattered it in 1,000 pieces. We had to put him in the ground. Now, is that karma or is that synchronicity? Because that looks awful like karma to me. And it seems like these deities have classifications as to how they operate.
Well, okay. So
Because I see synchronicity as bringing most people together and sharing ideas and putting people into a flow state. I see karma going after the action of what
What goes around comes
what
around.
Biscuit is saying.
Yeah.
I see karma taking care of the things of like the action of, whether it be negative or positive.
Well, maybe though your horse was kind of like a troublemaker, and then, I mean, your horse was a troublemaker, sort of.
That's
right?
what he did. That's what he did.
So, like, eventually you're gonna meet your match. I mean, that's a little different, right?
I mean, but he could have met his match any other time too. I mean, it just seems
I
like
mean,
if you
Tyson went through a lot of mothers before.
who said before he bit an ear off. Who said that once saying, "Live by the sword, die by the sword"? Does anybody know who said that? Because
I'm
that
not sure where it originated from.
that has a lot of a lot of karma in there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I think the phrase actually is pointing out what I'm saying, which is if you go starting shit with a bunch of people, you're gonna end up catching some shit.
That's true.
So your phrase and saying is the same as karma. You're just saying it differently.
Yeah. I think we can all agree that when you call upon that fucking deity, it's already in play, whether you call upon it or not. Somehow I feel like we are all on this electronic football field. And I've always felt this in life, that there's something greater observing us and taking tally and literally are weighing the scales of Anubis. You know, like there's an Anubis out there that I don't know if it's I'm not trying to say that there's an overall God watching every human's actions. I don't know. I just don't know. But it sometimes I just feel like we're being observed, and most of us want to do good and try to figure out this thing we call life, because there's something we need to hold ourselves accountable to.
That helps you. I mean, and that helps all of us. But it's programming. We were programmed to feel that way. It's called guilt, and they program us with that, which is good in a way, but can also limit people.
When you say they, who you referring to?
Your parents, your family, your school, your church, your wherever, however you were conditioned.
And I always ask that because I used to think just like that, or I used to say things like that until I got deeper and had my own experience. And then I said, it's not they. It's all. It always comes back to us. This is what. Yeah, this is what we're doing to
Same with
ourselves.
the government too, right? Like,
Yeah, everything. You can't.
It's us.
You can't put a border, or you can't cut yourself away from the universe, no more than the universe can cut itself away from you. It's what we are living through, what we're going through, the greed. It's us. We're the greedy ones. We're the ones killing ourselves. Because if you're looking at Earth from a different perspective, from a, let's say, an advanced civilized race, and you're looking at Earth, you're saying, "Oh my God, look what those entities are doing to themselves. They have no skin in the. They have no skin in the game, right? They call it how it is. They look at it as they see fit. These poor souls are blowing each other up over fictitious borders, ideals, beliefs.
They don't even have beliefs anymore. It's not even why they're doing it anymore. I mean, it has nothing to do with anything fundamentally important to them. It's simply the action of turning the globe. Just keep things.
Just keep turning the globe.
Keep the money cycling. That's it.
That goes back to what Scotty was saying. Greed.
I mean, how many people do you think percentage could have this discussion without feeling uncomfortable or
Not a lot.
threatened?
Nah, you're right. Yeah.
Not a lot.
And
Dave.
I think about that, right? Which means, so there's part of me that wants to say, do we all have the same capacity, right? Of, I don't want to say intelligence because that's not really where I'm trying to go, of empathy, of really pushing ourselves beyond. My guess is yes, we do actually. I don't really think, I think brains or muscles to some degree, or I think we have to, I think some of us frankly think a lot more about this stuff, and we remove these filters, right? Because at some point we see these filters as more dangerous than whatever is out there. There's nothing that I can't process that's going to destroy me, you know?
Right, but I
There's
think
nothing. Yeah, go ahead, please.
I think people are in this room right now, in this comment section. I think we mastered something. We've mastered the ability to take offense to too much of anything anymore. I think our curiosity into others outweigh
Taking offense.
And we're trying on this collective thing to figure something out. You know what I mean? We all have our ideations, we all have our theories, we all have what we think is going on, and we all agree to do this. Check ego at the door like a coat. Come into one room, listen to others, and try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the more you dig into ego, the more you really try to understand. It's like a child who at first needs to operate one way to survive, you know. But there's some point, you're a teenager, you kind of understand it. Young adult, maybe you understand some of it. But then it's like, okay, I need to get rid of this now, because now it's like no longer useful, right? I need to get beyond it. And somehow I feel like maybe these filters that we create, I say the word filters just because it's easy for me to see it. I think the mistake we can make is to start letting these things protect it because we think we need it, but actually we need to get rid of it.
You want to see a bad representation of this? You want to see an assembly of ego? Watch C-SPAN. Watch the Congress in action. You want to see what ego looks like on a mass scale? Watch Congress, because it's all fucking ego.
Or watch just watch media.
Yeah.
Watch mainstream media.
Oh, any of it, almost all of it now.
Watch how Democrats and Republicans get along.
That's not just in the US or Canada. That's worldwide.
It's worldwide.
You have to understand that what you're watching on TV is not reality. It's not.
It is not.
It's not reality.
No,
it's on C-SPAN. This is not reality.
This is performative.
It is performative. That is
And even someone will say, if you hear them really get into it, they'll say that is not what this person says behind closed doors.
exactly.
But they will walk out there because at some point they figured out what is the safest thing for them to say, right? really I say safe because they act like it's provocative, but it's actually not provocative. It's the safest. It's the less threatening thing to say on some level. They are going right in those filters, right underneath it, right that comfort zone.
That's not really the way it is anymore. I mean, maybe way back, 20, 30 years ago, we could have that. Your point would be valid, I would say, because they were political, right? And they were worried about votes. But they're not worried about votes anymore.
Bureaucrats, lobbyists.
Oligarch.
I think it depends. Yeah, I know what your point. Some of them are in there really just to. It's no different than a social influencer, right?
Yeah.
They're going in for the money grab, the connections, and actually some of them want to get out. So I respect that point. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I could count on my hand people who I have any evidence are there for any other reason.
Yeah.
You may have went in clean, but like they always say, you'll come out dirty. And it's not that it's your fault, right?
But you have to go with the flow.
Okay, but the people that
or they will weed you out.
Yes,
the people that go in, the people that go in with great intentions and great mindsets, and they were for the people at the time.
They last one time.
And like you said, maybe 90% of them aren't like that, or 95% are like that, and there's only 5% that are not. Those 5% that are not, that stay true to themselves, they can't get anything done. They won't get anything done because it's not designed for you to be for the people.
So what happens? They don't put them on committees. If a person got elected, and because they're a grassroots, mover, and they, they're here for the people. They're trying to do, what it's evident people would prefer to have happen, but it's against the interests that are paying and lining everyone else's pockets. So they won't assign them to any committees. They won't ever give them any power whatsoever, and then they'll ostracize them and block them out until basically they'll pay to campaign somebody against them.
And that's why when you look at any legislative body, you'll never see the likes of people like us, the way we speak.
Yeah,
every legislative body that I've looked at is always like Halliburton, ExxonMobil,
Lockheed Martin.
It's big, well-funded people,
Big
right?
pharma.
And so they'll sign off on all these bills. They'll sign off on all these compromises or all this because they're all bought and paid. When was the last time you seen any legislative work go through that was for the people?
Well, I would say that a lot of the corporate world is very much like this too, right? It operates. You go into a boardroom, it's really not much different. At the end of the day, it's a very the self-interest is so strong, right?
It's okay though in a boardroom because like
no, it's not. It's not.
That's the whole idea. Like that whole company is there to make money, and you don't go to work unless you're getting paid. Trust me, no one will come to work for me unless I pay them.
Well, no, and on a very basic level, yes, okay, but there's also, if we're going to turn this back to the human condition, and I could go into corporate culture a lot, but what makes something successful is you don't make the money. You can make money and be a very unsuccessful company that's 2 or 3 years. You could be almost you could be at the end of your life cycle and make money. So,
yeah, definitely.
So my point was only that they do operate with the same levels of, frankly, cowardice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And that's really was what my point is that the government, most of these people they're at the end of the day, they're pretty cowardly. It's very few of them that can really, if there was an authentic self, they buried it. And if you go into the corporate world, your authentic self will slowly get buried too. The only thing that will save you is power, right? And it's the same thing with the government. The only thing that will save you is being so powerful that you have so many votes that people are afraid to mess with you. Right?
Let me
That's my point.
And that's a very good point, and I agree with you. But let me ask you this. It's only because, and I just want your guys' opinion. If you're super rich, like Elon Musk, Bezos, Gates, you have all this money, okay? What would be the harm if people in the world, no one had to struggle financially, and the money was just better managed, where everyone was well above the red line, and you can still keep your jobs and your wealth? What's so bad about the whole world flourishing?
There is no reason why it couldn't. There is literally no reason.
You could, right? You can still keep your capitalism or whatever, however you run.
But it's carrots and sticks, man. They got to make somebody suffer so that you have the example, so that you know I don't want to be that guy, and that you work so that you're not that guy.
Okay, and that's my point, right? But the wealthy have so much money. It's been proven to make everybody millionaires.
But
what's the harm?
Because you're a threat. You're a threat ultimately. That's, I think, what Royd is saying. Yeah. Ultimately, they don't want to compete with you, right? I mean, it's just the ugly truth of it.
Labor. I need you to do something for me because I sure as hell don't want to do it.
And I'm saying that, keep your labor, but pay them very, very well.
But that's not how it works, because if I keep paying you well, eventually you're going to save up enough so you don't need me anymore.
And this is what I was getting to. It's when you bring money into the equation,
you go down this awful hole.
It's nasty.
It's awful.
It's vicious.
Awful. It's nasty.
Have you ever? Do you find it fascinating with like Bezos' wife, what she's doing, and then what Bezos is
She's
doing?
a straight up philanthropist.
I'm guessing that's why they're divorced.
Biscuit said they
I know.
Hold on. This has to be said. Half God, half beast said they have to feel above you to feel safe.
Yes, that's the same concept. No, he's right. And that is the same concept. They have to, the more they give you, the more they empower you. And they want to manage that power very carefully, right? And that's not, this is just unfortunate how someone who needs that power thinks, right? And they think in terms of power and leverage and strength. And whereas a lot of us don't live in that world. It's a very foreign place. We hear him speak, right? And we're kind of like turning our heads at first. But we're smart enough to get it at some point, especially if that stick comes for us.
Right. Yeah.
We're like, oh, wait a minute, you know?
Well, that's the thing is everyone is, well, no, I shouldn't say everyone. So I think everyone here is capable, though, of taking the full analysis all the time, right? But like you said, it could be too much. It could be distracting. It could be stress causing, everything else. But if you don't understand motivations, and you hit upon this earlier, if you don't understand what motivates people, then you are not going to understand what people are doing and why they're doing it. And that affects you.
Yeah. But we have to be very careful. And my brother has made a point about this every time. And Scott just said it too. It's the biggest fucking devil in the room right now. I think Jervis even said it. Money. Money is fucking us all up.
Oh, it's awful.
It wants us to have control over the next person. It wants us to mind control the next person. It wants us to make you believe what I believe.
It used to, but now it's now become a thing where
I'll be right back, guys.
the population can be controlled. I think that's the way it's heading. Even more so now that they're really pushing this sort of digital finance. Everything's to be digital.
It's a scam. Like
and really all it is, Droid, is it's a computer with, you go into the computer and you look on the screen and how much you're actually worth. Literally, that's all it is at the end of the day.
Oh, fuck.
They couldn't even give you all the money if you had enough.
No,
if you had
exactly.
enough on the screen, they couldn't even give it to you.
But this whole digitization of it all is just all about control, which means your little guy down the road that's retired and he's trying to make himself a few extra bucks a week by going around mowing people's lawns and getting some cash in the hand jobs to give him some extra spending money at the end of the week. No more, because everything's digitized, it's all recorded. All these little things that people take for granted at the moment will just disappear because everything has to be tracked. So at the minute every single penny in the world is tracked and there's no more physical money, the government can track every single thing that's out there.
Well, as
And
far as
that's
they're
why they're
concerned,
pushing for it.
They have been. So in other words, well, regardless of whether or not they were able to electronically count everything that happened, you, as a good citizen, were responsible for reporting everything you did regardless.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
But there is a lot of people out there who will try to earn a few extra bucks because they've maybe not got a great pension or for whatever reason.
Yeah, they're doing it for reasons to help themselves.
Or you get a carpenter in to build your studio for you, and he says, well, look, I can give you it for this price, but if it's cash in hand, I can do it for this.
And that's how I am as a
disappear.
That's how I am as a farrier. Like, I don't want everything
I'm
to
not
be.
saying it's wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
It's whatever, you know what I mean. To each their own. I would not. I'm not going to say what I would do either way, but I'm just saying technically it's always been illegal, man.
Yeah.
It
has been technically.
But so is taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, and they know it. So
and now it is for sure because we're being taxed without being represented.
and we get double taxed on things that people don't even know about. You know, so I mean that's the way of the world. You know, I don't think. Okay, conversations like this help people understand that these are things that have to be spoken about. You can't run from topics that only suit you. You have to be able to spar in the ring with anything at any time.
Well, because especially if you're affected by it. But that's what they, for the person that works in the office, that's what they say. Well, that's why I have the weekends. You'll get your moment on the weekends, but even then, I find that you try to escape the workspace on the weekend. You're thinking about that shit because right when Sunday hits, you're already living for Monday.
Sunday nights suck.
And even more so now in the digital age because you're still, even when I was working offshore, when I was at home, I was still receiving emails while I was at home and getting asked questions in my time off. Your time is never truly your own.
Well, and I used to think about, well, obviously being a furrier and being an offshore working like that you're closer to the source of what you're doing. But we've got these industries where we're all just like shuffling data, and we're my point is this: we're so far removed from whatever the reward in what's happening that it's kind of life sucking, you know what I mean? Like, and so they give you these, you did 3% productivity this month, woohoo, we're gonna throw you a party, right? And you got the thing, but it's so far from the human condition, what we want, right? And if you're a person with empathy, you start, like, they're talking about these financial things you did, and you're thinking, well, what? No, I remember like when we had the 3:00 tea time and we'd sit in the circle for 5 or 10 minutes and everybody would come over and we got Phil over and we got so-and-so. And that's what I remembered. You know, that's all I can, like, all that other stuff. I never, you're sitting there, you're working so damn hard, and yet you feel completely empty on some level. And that's not just me. That's what's happening, you know what I mean? So I think we start seeking things. I know I did, like in my office, I wanted something like real, something I could walk away from and say, wow, at least we did this. At least we laughed at this, and at least we whatever, because whatever they were giving us for the money was giving us nothing, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, go ahead, sir.
No. I was gonna say, which is funny because yesterday my brother and I, we kind of talked about what kind of went down with us Friday. We were both restless. We stayed up all night, and we were entangled with that. Like it's a twin thing, so it's kind of hard for us to explain. So when I get back yesterday, he literally asked me, so what do we want to do? We want to talk about it, or we want to just play music? And yesterday we just came in here and we just fucking jammed for 41 minutes.
Because that was
and didn't say one goddamn word. Knowing that the outside is always going to be there waiting for us, we came in here and we just jammed. And I'm going to tell you, like we said afterwards, I forgot about all my goddamn life worries. Because when you're caught in a moment of
bliss,
and when you're doing something that resonates with you, and
it has purpose,
and you're doing it effortlessly. That's the cause of relaxation that you get. That's where you escape.
But then you have moments like this, and I find this synchronicity. Now you could talk about it.
Yeah.
Because now you're ready to
talk about
converse.
It. Right.
You know?
Right.
But how many people are there out there that don't have that avenue to escape with?
I think about
Like
that all the time, Scotty.
Yeah, non-creatives.
You gotta wonder.
I would be fucking lost, Royd, if I didn't have a creative thing to do.
That's a scary thing to think about.
Yeah.
My kid, you gotta be careful of people who don't have hobbies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get somehow to express yourself. I think I used to talk about my dad, and he was a pretty quiet guy, but he would paint. He did other sorts of creative stuff, but it was that painting. I would walk by even as a child, and I felt him. I felt all that energy, and I knew there was a much deeper person than just the guy making the biscuits, which I liked. But you're right, Scotty. I mean, like, I see it in people. I think I see it. I feel it when they don't have something, right? And this is where they start losing themselves or something. And I think they could become two-faced. And I just went through all this, and you're looking at them, and you're like, man, like, are you all right?
Jealousy, I think, is a big part of it, though.
Thank you, Roy. And I was just going to get there because there's a particular mother effer in mind right now that I'm thinking about, and all that person deals with is jealousy. They'll say ugly things about others. They'll put others out there, but yet they'll come back to your space and try to occupy that same space and time with bullshit fronts of positivity.
And fake smiles.
I hate that.
It's literally a serpent in the weeds, man.
Yeah, this you have to be careful with. You're right, and I agree with all of you. And the thing is, the more honest you are with yourself, you're seeing it, right? And you're just, because like I personally, I need to check out the personal, but I've got to put that mirror on them a little bit. And I expect it coming back on me. Don't get me wrong. That's fair. But I need to make sure I kind of understand what I'm dealing with. But I've still witnessed some extraordinary, what I call two-faced kind of behavior where it shocks me. And it's usually...
There is justified judgment, Dave, so don't feel too bad. Yeah. There is a universal justified judgment, right? We can all look at somebody who's goes around killing just babies as a piece of shit. That's justified universal judgment.
It's like nobody has any judgment anymore. Like nobody will just say, call it what it is, right? Like everyone's like, well,
you have to be careful.
Some people say this, but I mean that's really it's an epidemic because like I think it's a generational thing, and maybe there's been a lot of influence that has pushed people in this direction for a reason to basically take their power.
Right.
If they can't make appropriate judgments, they're basically gonna be like dependent. That's the idea.
Yeah, we don't want people who kind of just, push the envelope a little bit or just, it's a very...
They don't want you to be too sure of yourself. And when
I tell you that
I mean, some people very specifically, but
No, I get it, but I get it just in general because I've been experiencing it in my own life. Luckily, not in this household. Thank the whoever, right? Thank blank Jesus since he's here.
Yeah. That's
Because
right.
if I thank anybody else, he's gonna get pissed off.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Smite your ass.
Smite thee.
I ain't stupid.
Smart move, Dave.
See there? There you go, right there.
Yeah, there you go. See, I'm learning. But no, but
It's not the same now because you can see my lips moving when I do it.
No, it's not the same. I did not like that, by the way. You got to turn around.
Yeah.
You gotta go out. It's okay though.
Put up some wallpaper with Black Jesus next time, Scotty.
But you will. I have witnessed more weird animosity towards me. I think. Remember when I first lost my job at beginning of April? I think I came on, and I was really lost. Like I started to really question.
You were going
are.
down the hole. Yeah.
Yeah, like, am I an asshole? Like, have I been treating people like shit? Like, what the hell's going on right now? Like, why is everybody acting like this? Like, did I just, like, have I been sleeping or something? And, then I realized, and I know that, this is the problem. This is it, like, this is the downside of being authentic self, right? Of being not just rolling with things and saying, hey man, that wasn't right when you said that to that person. It's no big deal. I do it too. I always go like, I've made mistakes. Then I give an example and I try to like make it even, but it doesn't matter that I try to make it even. Once I put that light on them, they hated me for that. They hated me.
yeah,
And that's sad because putting a light on you I'm all lit up too. It's so great.
It's accountability, though.
It's a beautiful. Look at me. I'm just like glowing.
very few people want to be held accountable.
Yeah,
Right.
it's accountability issue.
And we all have to do it. Like,
Right.
We're gonna make.
No, a lot of people are really good at escaping it.
Yeah.
Well,
True. No,
I
I
would
meant
say
like
I would-
us.
they
Like, we need
really
to be.
are.
Yes.
They really are. But I'll tell you this: when I was in my stint in law enforcement, because that was my job, right? I'm arresting you because you need to be accountable for the actions that you've done. You have to know that driving drunk and you killing this lady, you're accountable for this. So yeah, I'm forcing you to look at yourself with these shiny handcuffs, because as you sit in this cop car and we make our way to the jail, if you can comprehend it or not, you're thinking about your actions. You're thinking about, I'm accountable for what I just done. So if you have to show someone in your workspace that they need to be accountable and that their actions causes this and that they don't want to see it, they much rather fire you, that's not your fault. And chances are the universe is probably telling you shouldn't have been at that fucking job in the first place.
Yeah, and the fact is, Dave, that you've walked away from that, and the first thing that, or you didn't walk away from it, but you know what I mean. The first thing that you done was self-reflect and look at you and question yourself. That tells you how good your soul is, because the instant thing that you done was doubt yourself, which at times it's required. Where we all need to do that at some point. It's exactly what Jervis was on about with the mirror and taking a look at ourselves, but it doesn't necessarily mean you were the one that was at fault. But I think you've realised that now. But it says a lot about you as a person that you've actually taken a look at yourself first. That was the first thing that you done.
Yeah, because thank you, I appreciate that a lot. Because for me, I had to step back and say, okay, this is real life right now, right? And I need to make sure, first thing I want, for me, the first thing I wanted to do is connect with my family. I want to make sure, hey, I want to talk about this because I need to know, like, is there's something I need to deal with? You know what I mean? Like, am I, it could be, and I say that because I never, well, one thing I've learned recently, I've been trying to conversations, especially with people I don't know real well, say I'm not perfect. And I started like that because I want them to understand I'm still learning myself, right? And I don't ever expect to master it totally. And I want to, I want to be a good person, right? And I do tend to go into things with good intentions, right? Very good intentions. And I do think I understand when something is not going well, when two people avoiding each other, and you can feel when things are kind of going dark instead of going positive, whether it's with somebody individual or, like I was saying, in the culture of things. For me, that's, again, probably goes back to how I was raised. I had to know my environment, right? Know your environment, and then act accordingly, right? So as I got older, the change for me was I wanted to fix the environment. Maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe that's too far right there. You know what I mean? But I wanted maybe impact the environment, influence it positive, instead of just being so detached and afraid of it. I went towards it. You know what I mean?
And change is a big word. It's a big word for something that's so external outside of you. Yeah. You can't change anything or anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
right?
caught myself.
The only change you can actually do is your actions and how you conduct yourself. So to take on a monumental task like that was already kind of like setting yourself up for failure. But how you self-correct a lot. Maybe not change, but maybe my actions can impact to induce change. Maybe by the way I conduct myself and I pay for somebody's coffee at Starbucks, that'll cause the change for someone to pay it forward. And you're not alone with thinking like that, because I used to always question myself at night. Why are there starving children? Why are we blowing each other up? How come we can't do this? I want this. I want change. I want us. And it was so out of line for me to say, because that would be my thoughts encroaching on someone else's life experience. Yeah. How do I know that person who just got mugged didn't need that to better their soul or to better their life, so they know what being a victim feels like? Maybe in turn and down the line, that person then knows, but you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's got their walk in life. Everybody has their path. Everybody has their journey.
You got to get mugged or something bad happen to you, so you can't trust people.
Well, and I think also maybe the point is that we have to have the humility to understand.
There you go.
We're not that big, right? We can't. All we can do is kind of
have empathy.
Kind of foster. Empathy. It's like the garden concept, right?
Right.
You can kind of. Some things are going to grow there. Some things just will never grow there, and you can kind of tweak it, but it also has its own kind of will. When if you've worked in the soil or outside the ocean, all of it has its own will, and you got to respect it on some level, right? And kind of figure out, and I know for me that's always a weakness, because I probably just push it too hard, but with good intention. But I need to understand that, there is a point where all I'm doing is probably damaging myself, right? And it's maybe gonna, which is fine, but I got a family and children. I need to be present for them. I can't be going out in the real world beating myself up and then coming home because I'm afraid I'm going to carry it around here. So it's a balance, because you got to be true to yourself too, right? I think, Lamar, you were talking about the party, right? Sitting there and like, at what point do I say something, or do I get up and it's like, these are really hard things to. It's real. Well, I know if you guys been a medic, police officer stuff, that's real time stuff. Like, that's like, okay, now I'm in it, right? I was not in it. Now I'm in it. I got to make a decision, so that's a little different, but that's intense, right? You have to accept also what you were put under in those circumstances, right? And you can't be perfect, right? In fact, that's the one thing that upsets me sometimes, is when we put people in tough situations like that
and expect them to be perfect.
And we expect them to be perfect.
Yeah. Like
And
you're not looked at as a robot behind a badge with no emotion.
somehow we got to reframe it, slow it down, and say, okay, let's all just, who is this?
A lot of it, though, I mean, look, let's be honest. You're finding kids that are like 21, 22, and then throwing them in training for what, 6 months or a year, and then sending them out to patrol the streets. That's crazy.
Yeah, no life experience. Yeah, I agree with you
life
100%.
Oh, absolutely.
They're all hopped up, man. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine. I mean, you know exactly what you were like when you were 22.
Oh, yeah. It's
I mean,
awful.
Nobody was saying shit to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. And now you want this person to go break up a domestic quarrel from a couple that's been
Exactly.
together for
They're gonna
30
be a
years.
police officer now.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. What life experience do you have that you're going to tell me to break up this fight?
Exactly.
And
Kid.
somehow
You could be my age, and you can't pay me enough to go out there and deal with that shit.
Yeah.
and extract yourself. And I
That's
thought,
why you have a problem, because you can't find somebody who has that life experience, who has the mentality and the nature to handle these types of things, who's going to be willing to do it. Because
Especially for the prices that we're doing it for, or I was doing
I
it
know,
for.
and I was going to say, ironically,
enough, man. Like, you
police
really
off. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, ironically, that I could have seen myself becoming a police officer because of the very things I've said on this show and why I would have done it, right? Because I would have been putting myself in circumstances where I thought I could make a difference, right? Help.
Yeah, you'd have been surprised quickly, I think.
Well, that's the point, though, isn't it? That I'm not so different. A lot of these police officers are like that,
Mhm.
right? And it's hard to believe it.
Yes.
It is, but
The problem is just like politicians. If you go in with the best of intentions, there are people involved that they have other intentions, and there's a profit motive as well. And
daggone money.
unfortunately, when things go wrong in policing, you have a very well-armed gang, possibly. I mean, you have very, very good exemplary police departments, and then you have like
The shit
Baltimore
ones.
City Police Department.
Yep.
In
Yep.
Baltimore City, they had to arrest a lot of the police officers a few years ago because they had an organized crime gang. I mean, that's
Are you in Baltimore?
no, I'm not. But
Oh,
you're
I was
wrong.
born in Catonsville. That's why.
Catonsville, yeah, that's funny. Oh wait,
Yeah.
so if you, given your age, you were probably younger than David Byrne, though, right? Because he went to Catonsville High.
No, I didn't go to Catonsville. I'm in my 50s, but yeah, no, I moved down to like near DC pretty earlier. But my whole side was from Baltimore, but I know Baltimore real well. And I worked on the west side. I did a lot of work on the west side. I was even over by the let's just say I loved The Wire. Like that was like, oh my God. I've been there, man. Like I know these places.
One of my friends was a cameraman on it.
Yeah, I knew of one of my. They used one of the houses, I think, of one of my coworkers at one point. But anyways,
It's a nice area.
yeah, it's a complex city. That's it's a city, and it's got its history like any other. But to your point, you're right. I mean, any of these. Baltimore's a good example of corruption. I mean, it's sad. It really is sad, because they've had so much of it, and it does kind of like all corruption. It's a culture, right?
It's everywhere. Yep.
Yeah, it's a
It's
plague,
everywhere.
right? So once it kind of grabs hold of something, it really can be hard to get rid of it.
If you're a good guy cop and you really want to bust the bad guys and save people's lives and do all the good things, and you go and you join the force and you go, let's say, into the Baltimore City Police Department, they're going to see you and your good nature and see that as a threat.
Oh yeah, that's kind of getting to the point. Yeah, and that's getting to the point. The same thing in the workplace. Very different, you know what I mean? But the culture, every place, even larger families have a certain kind of way of being, a culture, right? And if you buck it, if that's your nature, right? Life can be really tough, right? But unfortunately, sometimes it's necessary, you know.
Mhm.
Like
And
you don't survive. I mean, you have to understand, man. Like
oh, I
I don't
do.
know if you do. Baltimore City, like
I know.
when I was young, Baltimore City police officer explained to me that they had filled the harbor with barrels full of people.
Yeah. Well, The Wire kind of tried to explain some of it,
It
but
did.
yeah, no,
It didn't
but you're
try.
right.
It did.
Yeah, it's awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
But and the well, you know, and this stuff is real, you know, and that's what's hard for people to I don't know. In some weird ways, I feel like we've come a long way, but then on another level, you know, we just keep coming up with new ways for the virus to mutate.
That's
Mhm.
it.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and I feel like it is just
It's a new angle. That's it. It's always a new
Yeah.
hustle. That's
Yeah.
what the deal is. Everyone's got a hustle. Some people's hustle is, you know, you could say it's a net negative basically because it's working other people, right?
Mhm.
And other people's hustle is making things that people can use. So
Yeah.
that's where you get into intention, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me turn this a different way. We have 10 minutes left in the show. I want to ask someone, or I want to ask you guys on a lighter subject. Let's turn this to a brighter moment here before we leave. Let's start with Roy Droid. Name one thing that makes you happy in life.
My daughter.
Your daughter. God damn, that's a good one.
I thought the same thing, but
Mm.
I'm not going to use it.
I'm a sucker for my daughters too, whether they know it or not.
How old is she, Roy?
20.
20.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You still feel that way. That's good.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mine's 12. Yeah.
Yeah, yours is 12. Yeah, I have an 11-year-old and a 17-year-old daughter. Yeah, the little girls do it.
No daughter. I got boys.
They do. They do.
I mean, I love them too.
So
goddamn.
Roy
Yeah,
said
the
his
boys are all right. I
yeah.
got one. They're
Roy
all right.
said his daughter. What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to. I'm just gonna say my family.
That's a good one.
That's because you're in it.
Well, it's big. I mean, I'm looking at. I'm just saying. I'm looking at
Yeah.
S.O.R. I'm looking at
No,
all
no, no.
these.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking
Yeah.
at how big everything is. Like,
Mhm.
and we're all in here. We're all family. If it's not for you guys, then like my happiness is just stuck between myself. There's my close knit family, right? But then there's also this, and I feel like I spend more time here than anywhere else.
Mhm.
So what's responsible for my happiness has to be the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chrome says his grandkids.
That's cool.
What about you too, chat? Let us know what makes you happy. There has to be something that makes you happy. Well, let's go, Scott. What about you?
What makes me happy? No drama.
Mm.
Yeah. I've had enough drama in my life that when there's zero drama going on, I'm just like,
I know.
But that's gonna always goddamn be around.
Yeah. Half God,
Well,
half beast set. Oh, go ahead.
I think a lot of it is whether you allow it to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
True.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you let it through the door?
Yeah. Because once it gets in the door, man, it's
Yeah.
real.
You have to deal with it.
You have to deal with it.
Biscuit says green spaces, nature makes him
Oh.
happy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
God, I miss the woods. I miss the forest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the studio, you know, because you guys have taken so many of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
This studio, this room, this having this creative space, you know, is I don't take it for granted that I have it. You know, I don't think I deserve it or anything. I'm just really happy, you know, that I have somewhere that I can do this, you know, and grateful that I put some time in, you know,
Yeah.
that I could have been doing all sorts of dumb s and stuff, you know, through my life. Somehow I kept putting little pieces away, towards music.
Yeah.
And it's like the best mutual fund I've ever, created for myself. I tell people all the time, and I look at my kids and I just go, man, I just hope I want you to find something like this, like I want them to play in bands, not because I want them to play in bands. I want them to get that feeling of connecting with other musicians, Nothing wrong with being in the studio, but I want them to, but yeah, no, I love it down here.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, the thing that makes me happy every day is exactly this: the life I chose, the direction I chose, the wife I chose, the decision to start this podcast, the friends and family we made along the way. A lot of it I tend to take for granted. I tend to take all of you guys right now on this screen and in the chat. I tend to take that for granted. I tend to put that behind me and think about the negative things more than I think about this. This right here should be all I should be thinking about, is this journey and how everyone in my life right now is doing me a greater service than they think they are. That's what's truly making me happy, because I'm here and I'm doing it. And anytime time flies past, like right now, and I wish we had more time to speak tonight, like those are the things that make me happy when I say I wish I had more time with you guys, because you all have your minds and you all come back to this channel and we all can agree to disagree, but we come back to the same environment to put ourselves sometimes in comfortable situations, emotional situations, uncomfortable situations again, and we just keep coming back and we support each other. We all have channels, not all of us, but most of us have lives we do, and it's great to see those faces when we hit that live button,
I would just say, too, before we leave, too, whenever you start to go down the rabbit hole and reflect on all the negative, because we know how easier that is versus being positive, it's just don't forget to avert your attention to all the shit that's going right for you and what you do have.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly, most importantly, you wake up every morning, like, to not be grateful for that, or to watch a sunrise or a sunset. Like that's a whole lot right there. Just divert your attention, even if it's for a moment. Just acknowledge it.
Yeah, I like what Rourke said. Rourke said happiness is an approximate outcome, not an ultimate outcome. We can't be happy. We can only do what makes us feel happy.
Happiness is a choice.
Gratitude is the attitude.
Gratitude is the attitude. Happiness is a choice. Wake up, you choose to be happy. It's not something you can walk into like slippers.
Yeah.
If that was the case, we wouldn't have a bad fucking moment. If I had happy slippers I can walk into.
That just took away your perception of things. Yeah.
You mean you don't have happy slippers?
Shit.
I love my slippers.
There you go.
Get in them
Are
slides.
you pink and fluffy as well, Dave?
Pink and fluffy.
I used to have those really big, the abominable like snowman.
Shit.
Yeah. Where did those go?
I sometimes wonder, like, how come I haven't bought an adult size onesie and just put that bitch on and give me a bowl of cereal and watch my favorite fucking cartoons?
Yeah.
Well, don't you feel that way when you put
Yeah.
if you got like, we have those Christmas pajamas.
Yeah.
I've got a collection now because we get them every year.
Yeah. And don't
the other
even use
day-
words. And don't even use words. Just go, da.
I just put my jammy pants on. I came downstairs.
Right? I'm going to tell my wife, you know
I
what?
just gotta go outside. Just
I'm
gotta
gonna
get
tell
out the door with them.
I'm going to tell my wife, buy us some onesies. And we're gonna go back to being fucking kids.
Yeah.
When did we ever fucking grow up is what I want to know. And why did we do it? Fuck!
It does seem kind of stupid, doesn't it? Like, I remember, like, I know we got to go, but I remember being like 15 or something. I went into the Toys R Us. I had a friend who was about 2 or 3 years younger. And I think I might have told the story, but I was like, I'm too old for Star Wars. You know what I mean? And I wanted to get like one of those cool live fighters and everything. And I think about that now. I think that was like, who was that kid? Why was he thinking like that? You know, like, what was going on that he was already like growing up so quick?
Right. What
And
changed?
worried about that someone, and then it wasn't 10 years later, some dude comes in the neighborhood and he's like collecting Star Wars, and we're all like in our 20s, right? Going to bars and stuff. And I'm like, he never stopped. He's still doing it. He never stopped.
Yeah.
You know, why? You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Some kid came to our house when we were probably like 13 years old. My brother and I were playing with Ninja Turtle action figures.
Nice.
And he said something like, "Oh, y'all still play with toys?"
Yeah.
And I remember this. And I looked at my brother and I was like, I don't think we're supposed to be playing with toys anymore.
I remember
Oh,
Some
see?
some person came in and put that in my mind, and then I started evaluating like,
oh, I shouldn't be playing
maybe
with
I
toys.
shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
I wish I could go back to a
It
moment
stole
like,
our imagination.
stole
Yeah,
it from us, and not.
We get it back with our children, though.
I was going to say, however,
yeah, we sneak it
Yep.
back, don't we?
yep, universe is kind, and it says, oh, but you can still play with toys with your two boys, man.
Yeah, I was down there playing with my kids, you know?
And your kid turns 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, until your kid turns 20,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a different subject.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different, yeah.
Then maybe we need to teach them it's okay to go back and have an
Yeah.
imagination.
Yeah.
Hey, Kent, sorry that you have fucked up a tooth or something. What the hell's going on there? And then I like what Strange Sky said.
Yeah,
Reflect.
John. Yeah, I read
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Go ahead and read that, Scotty.
Yeah, he was like, reflect. Your periods of happiness have and will change as your life evolves and progresses. What is happiness today will change as life and its encounters occur.
Mm-hmm. It's always
As you get
evolving.
old, you learn maybe regret, but you learn and move on. Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, life is like a watch.
Mm-hmm.
You can change the time, but you can't stop the process.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where carpe diem comes from, though, isn't it? Seize the moment, or seize the day, is it? Seize the
Mhm.
day.
Yep.
Seize
Yep.
the day.
Yeah, a lot of people wait until it's not there anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just gotta.
You ever
Yeah.
you ever try to hold on to a particular moment in life? Like you ever just try to desperately hold on to a particular moment in life?
Oh, hell yeah.
And no matter how hard you try, time just slips right between your fingers.
Yep.
And you
Yeah.
notice it. You notice I cannot hold on to this precious moment. No matter how much I claw at it, I know in a few minutes it's gonna pass.
I know, it's powerful. It really is.
It's just some things are just meant to go. Like some things are meant to. You can't hold on to things.
But that's when you know you're happy.
Oh,
But you
'Cause
know-
you don't want it to go.
Yep.
But and plus, and we know this, but the more you're in the moment, I think the happier you are. The more you just exist right at that moment, and you just wipe out all those thoughts, especially in the future or whatever, the past. And it seems like it would be so easy to do, but it's not.
It's
It's
not.
not.
It's not.
Ignorance is totally bliss.
Totally bliss.
I love ignorance.
Totally bliss.
Give me some ignorance pills, man. I guess that's what beer is.
Yeah. Well, look, everybody.
Excuse me.
Don't get personal, Dave.
Oh,
You just took a stab at Scotty, you cocksucker.
Yeah, don't do that.
No, don't do that either. He was dead good.
Take you in the basement.
Yeah. He's like, look, Scotty, I have
Yeah.
plenty of beer
Have
in my
plenty of
basement.
beer, Scott.
I got the rope.
Plenty of
Debbie,
beer.
I thought Debbie Does Dallas was coming back on there for a second.
Hey, that's my wife's name.
David does, Debbie and does.
Oh, shit.
Okay, Scotty.
All right, look, thanks, Roy,
Yeah.
Joy, Void. Thank
Thank
you,
you, guys.
Asif Stripe. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, chat, for showing up. We will continue to have these conversations. I think tomorrow we get home a little later, so we'll be doing this a slight bit later as there are priorities of the day. So we'll probably jam and chit-chat a little bit tomorrow. Who knows? It's better not to make plans and let the day evolve all by itself. So thank you all for showing up. What else was I going to say? Is there anybody else live right now that we can shoot some information to? I don't know if there's anyone else live right now. But if there is,
actually, I've not had any notifications.
yeah, if there is, you guys know who you like. Thank you to Synth Samurai for,
Viral Beats is live right now.
for coming in,
Or
and
Premiere's coming on.
thank you for Strange Skies. Thank you for Half God, Half Beast.
Thank you,
Underachiever, Uncle Chrome, Simon. Ain't seen you in a while. It's good to see you, Simon. Anyone else we missed? Rourke came in. Kent Spawn came in. Thank you all. All your lurkers out there, the lurking gherkins. Dawless came in. Thank you for supporting this channel.
Viral Beats.
Viral
Viral.
Beats came in.
He's got a premiere lining out, so
Yeah, be sure to check out Uncle Chrome's Bleepity Bloops. I'm still trying to make time to check that out, but when I do, I give him my 100% attention.
and go check out our boy from Mers who drives curs and he likes to
drives
catch up with the
curs.
gurs.
He might go live later today. Check out Sin
Sin
Samurai. Yeah, and we shall see you all tomorrow. And as I always say, love, bye, love, bye.
Bye, y'all.